Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Death's Curios. Welcome back for another episode. Unfortunately, we missed last week, but we're back again to start again this week and bring you some tales from a neo-Victorian post-apocalyptic London, with less of the neo bit. So, we're going to go ahead and introduce our players in just a moment. Before then, I just wanted to say hello to everybody and welcome, and to let you know that just after this, we're going to be introducing everybody, letting you know who they're playing, a little bit about the character, and then, of course, a recap of what happened the last time we were with you. But before then, we're going to very quickly play a little video on our sponsors. So I'll be right back with you all.
Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So we're going to go around quickly and introduce all of our players. I'll get into a recap for you all, and then we'll get right back in when we left off. So we're going to go around on this side, which will be Greybeard. Welcome back, Greybeard. You are muted.
Gets me every time. I try to be so polite. Greybeard of Greybeard's Tavern, and today I'll be playing Dr. VerRuckt. And he is a consumed by his work, mad scientist for all intents and purposes, who definitely has been suffering some PTSD lately. I love him.
Yes.
And, can't wait for today.
No, totally. I definitely cannot wait to get back into things, and we'll see where this ends up. And speaking of getting back into things, Tilly Griffiths, welcome back.
Hello, I'm playing Tilly Griffiths, the also consumed with work ace detective. Her special kind of corruption kind of makes her a bit reckless and definitely less inclined for social events, which makes dating an incredibly awkward experience.
Indeed it does. And speaking of somebody who's a little less socially awkward, Delilah, welcome back.
Yes, it is wonderful to be back. I'm glad we all survived a plague of last week. As for who I will be playing, it is the wonderful Delilah Berkeley, the loving, the ever so meddling third wheel to Tilly's date last session. I like how you're sipping your tea. I'll take that with pride. I'm Laura Lurk, and Delilah is basically the wife of an earl, a countess, and she is very much like a social peacock who got dragged into this weird investigative devil deal with these really badass people, and she's just like, I don't know how to use a gun.
Definitely.
And that
definitely.
has just been her experience this entire time.
Of course, and last but not least, the brilliant Miss Fairchild. Welcome back.
Hi, it's so nice to be back. I'm Shakespeare, and I'm playing Miss Fairchild, who is a mourner, which means I get to be a gothic badass, which is always very fun. She's been dragged into this deal for love of her son, who she hopes to protect if they finally actually get through this alive. If he gets through this alive, it's been hit and miss. And is I'm not going to say enjoying spending time with these people, but is finding it fascinating, considering she mainly spends her time around the dead. These people talk more.
There's been a lot of dead, it seems. Yeah, exactly. And there's been some dead along the way, for sure.
She's also very fond of food. Food is pretty much number 2 thing in her life after her son, most of the time.
Of course. And speaking of, so, For a recap, last session, when we were last with our group, they were recovering after Christmas and going on a date. They'd managed to go on a date to the Nutcracker, where many shenanigans went on. And aside from that, they also found out there was a case to investigate. The detective that had been sort of talking to them quite a lot beforehand managed to find them and ask them to look into a case, a person who had been stabbed many times in the streets, tens of times, and left brazenly in front of Scotland Yard. They were asked to investigate this discreetly and to try and find out what's going on and who's doing it, and if possible, bring them to justice. However, the detective unfortunately could not join them just yet, as he had to work his overtime in order to even be able to investigate it in the first place. They took on the case and began to look into it, but that evening they had their date to go on, and so Tilly and Delilah both attended to it, where they found there was somebody missing. The lead actress from the show themselves was missing from the show, and nobody seemed to know why, something that quirked the interest of at least our detective. It's fresh after this, as you've all had your evenings, and as you're leaving towards your house, Tilly, well, Miss Fairchild's house, to check on Havelock, and you're walking through the streets, that you feel a calm in the streets. There's no one else around at all. Just the two of you, you and Mr. Grimaud, as you're both walking through the cobbled streets of London. You make your way silently back. Your dog, still of course safely at the manor.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't really think she'd have too much to say. I think she'd just be intent on getting back.
So you make your way back, and unlocking the door and stepping upstairs into Miss Fairchild's house, you see everything is as it should be. Havelock is asleep. Everything is calm. The many locks to this place are still very secure.
Good. All right. Well, I think this is where we shall part then, Mr. Grimaud.
Of course, he says politely and nods his head. It has been a lovely evening, and I hope to share another soon. I hope you have a good time with looking after the boy, of course, and good luck with the rest of the case, Detective.
Yes. I think I'll need all the luck I can get.
I think you will.
Mm. Thank you for the...
Smiles at you and nods his head.
And dinner was an unexpected nicety.
Yes, it was rather pleasant. We should share another sometime, perhaps when you're less busy with all of these investigations, of course.
I don't want to be rude, but that probably will never happen. But if I can find the time, maybe.
I'm sure we can make it. He says,
Right.
and nods very politely before turning and making his leave.
Okay. And she'll shut the door and just do her checks around the house, and then go and settle down on a couch somewhere.
And you do, and it's rather calm. Meanwhile, Dr. VerRuckt, what were you up to this evening?
Delilah had left? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so we had our therapy session, and then she had left. I guess I would be back in the lab.
Okay. Yeah, Magdalena leaves, essentially saying, I need to go and look at Chicken Boy, and then leaves very briskly.
Okay. And then I would probably be working towards using the galvanic gun to possibly power the protean chamber.
Okay, could you give me a galvanics check, please?
Sure. I'd actually check that stat. I don't know. Oh yeah, I should have known. Okay. And ooh, I'll re-roll. Oop, right now. There we go. That's better. Okay. I can live with that.
And after an absolute Herculean attempt to roll those dice, You manage, and on a 13, you have a look. You don't think you have anything that can generate the kind of charge you'll need for this here right now. You may need to requisition something else in order to power your new device that you've been gifted. You'll need to find some sort of battery of some sort or an engine to power this. You don't know of many in the city who can have such a thing, but perhaps Delilah's husband may, now that he's back.
I shall talk to Ned. And I start doing the math for the power requirements.
And you do so, and it's going decently. And eventually, you do work yourself to sleep. Miss Fairchild, you wait through the evening until the costumer comes in the morning. You at least get some meditation and some rest until the morning, where you are removed from your tree prison. Mm-hmm. And Delilah, you have a lovely evening as well. And it's as the morning comes that you do hear a knock at your door, Dr. VerRuckt. A heavy knock.
Okay, and I was sleeping, so I guess it would be... Herbert, the door! Answer the door! And I will...
Does, but then seems to come up... No problem. Herbert does, and then comes up to you. As you see, it's only 6 a.m. And he looks a little worried as he comes to your door and goes, you may want to deal with the police at the door.
And he puts a hand on Herbert's shoulder and he says, this is maybe a longer situation than would otherwise be acceptable. And he hands him like a letter, and he's like, if I do not return, open. And then walks towards the towards the door.
And you make your way towards the door, Dr. VerRuckt, one step at a time, making your way there. And you see in front of the door is a rather tall gentleman, big, long coat, sort of a badge on him that signifies him as a detective of Scotland Yard. And you see he has a very thick moustache and button chops and a very fancy bowler hat on as he looks at you and nods politely, but has a stern look about him. I assume you're Dr. VerRuckt, sir? Is that the case?
Indeed, yes.
We have a few questions for you. It's standard procedure. We're looking into a few cases, and we've been interviewing a few people who were at the event. We're trying to get to the bottom of what exactly shattered the dome on the Halloween event in Upper London. The one that killed multiple people and, of course, maimed many others.
Took my arm, and he raises the his cybernetic up.
Indeed, it did. And yet you found one so soon. But there's a few things I need to ask about. There's a couple of details that are running over my mind and a couple of others in Scotland Yard that we need to get double-checked and, of course, make sure that they're all above board. Would we be able to come in?
Of course. Let us go to the study. Hannah, we will need some tea.
And Hannah begins to prep tea as you take the detective and their partner upstairs. You get into your study, and he sits across from you, and he does take out a book and a pipe as he lights his pipe and begins to smoke as he looks at his book. So, Dr. VerRuckt, you were at the event, yes? When did you arrive?
Oh, the details. And I have like a 4 in intelligence. Would I remember? Or would it be like,
you remember the basic details?
Okay. All right. I tell him when we arrived.
You arrived with, and you say who you arrived with. You arrived around 7 p.m. You were at the front door. And he nods. And when you were in, which parts of the festivities did you take part in? In order.
Oh, in order. So there was we had the little ones with us. What did we do? And I attempt to remember the order, the sequence. I know we were in the maze. but I don't remember much before the maze. So
So you remember you went to the apple bobbing game? You remember the show, the circus, of course.
Yeah. Okay. And then the maze, I would assume.
And they nod. Funny thing about that, Dr. VerRuckt, no one remembers giving you admittance into the maze, you see. Where, of course, the arm was said to be lost. People said that you had rolled out from the maze itself and had your arm taken whilst in some sort of chase.
Yes. I was attempting to help one of my companions in catching a dastardly individual who had been suspect of many kidnappings. The Blue Cat kidnapper.
Looks at his notes again and nods. Yes, of course. We know about Miss Griffiths catching the criminal. That goes without saying, but more importantly, the glass, you see, the main point of contact. It took us a while to scrape through it. It took us a long while, in fact, to find the exact point of origin of the cracking, of the breaking, of the disaster. A gun. Not many people would have such things in there. But, he says, and goes over his notes again, we've heard from multiple people around town that you carry some on you at all times.
Yes, I have
when you sit down in the incorrect way, when they brush against you wrong. You've also been seen carrying a rather large American gun on multiple occasions.
It's the Thomas gun, yes?
Yes, you do know that guns are illegal.
Oh.
Within the city.
He does. He genuinely acts surprised. I would say that he does know that, but thinking of the war and the animates and everything else, it's shocking that that yes, guns are illegal. So yeah, he flushes and is embarrassed, and he says, with the animates and the other threats, the guns are against the law?
And he nods. Yes, heavily. You're not supposed to carry firearms around the city, not openly, unless, of course, you are a detective or somebody who has a license for such things. And checking over your forms, which there seems to be very little of, Dr. VerRuckt, you don't have any. You also seem to not have a real doctor's license.
Damn it, Ned. That one I did not know.
You can try and think about that.
Okay.
Do you want to try and read it all?
I guess he would he would look nonplussed and be like, scientist, not a Hippocratic oath. I must help people, but my medical license, I guess, is lapsed. Where do I go to fix it?
Would you give me a psychology check, please? As you're sat there talking to them, and their partner continues to sort of take notes of everything that you say.
Come on, D10s, don't fail me now. Oof. I will re-roll again. God dang it.
You cash in another one of your second chances as you try to change fate again. Yeah. Go ahead.
I have but one more for this. Oh.
Okay, on a 16. You read them and you realize that they're bluffing. You do have a actual official medical license. Ned saw to it that you had one.
Ah,
They seem to be kind of trying to catch you in a lie, which they seem to have caught you off guard with a few things. A classic interrogation tactic.
okay. All right. Yeah, the patron of mine should have
Your
the
patron
requisite-
being? Well, you need a name, of course.
He prefers to be left anonymous, but for your purposes, I shall tell you, it
Good
is
answer.
Lord Berkeley.
Lord Berkeley. The recently refound thought to be murdered by his wife, Lord Berkeley.
Indeed, yes.
Interesting, he says, and he kind of looks over his shoulder slightly as he puffs on his pipe again, and his assistant again writes some more stuff down and looks at you and smiles politely. A younger man, seemingly still green, as he's very, very, very good behaved. And the detective looks at you again. You see, Dr. VerRuckt, there's a few things that have been happening. You, of course, have been carrying firearms around most places you go. You did not know, allegedly, that this was against the law. A gunshot shattered the dome in a place where nobles attend. Nobility and the rich, their children, their families, many workers of the event were injured, killed, maimed, such as yourself. We're just trying to get to the bottom of this, and it seems that that bullet, you see, something off about it.
And
Any ideas as to why there was a gunshot scene in the maze? When you were in there with your gun?
There was indeed a dastardly individual, sir.
We're not talking about that dastardly individual, Dr. VerRuckt. We're talking about yourself.
Oh, you're
I
thinking.
can't save you now.
You're thinking that I was the one who shot the roof, and then to take my own arm?
No, I believe that you wouldn't have intentionally shot at an angle to break the glass and then put your arm in the way for an alibi. No, I believe that was an accident, perhaps one caused by your chase. If you had shattered the dome on account of chasing down the blue cat, of course, I could see why there would be some danger in such a thing, and that you may be able to get away with lighter charges, Doctor. For now, there are only a few other accomplices that we have seen within it, and the things that we have overturned have, of course, led us to other rabbit holes, but this one in particular pertains to you. So please, Dr. VerRuckt, did you fire a bullet out of the maze towards the glass in an attempt to stop the blue cat?
I would assume that I probably did.
Probably did.
Again?
He says and sort of takes a seat back.
It is.
You do know if you're lying about this, that the law will come down hard on you. You will hang for this if you are lying to me.
I understand. I have been in your legal system for a long time now. He almost blew his cover. Wow, that was close. Whoo!
Speaking of almost, could you give me a very quick charm check?
Whew. Okay. Yeah, this is bad.
You're looking for a good roll here. Is there a detective?
Yeah, and I have but one reroll left. Oh my god. This is not the doctor's forte.
Let's have a look. Okay. What are you going to get? As they still look over you and wait.
God, dang it.
They get a glint in their eyes slightly as they
have
sit
my last
back.
one. I'll burn it. I'll burn it.
You're going to burn it? All right.
I'll burn it.
Okay.
On a 9.
Let's see what you get for your reroll then, with your last reroll of the day, thanks to your...
All right. 16.
On a 16, Dr. VerRuckt, you smile, and say your excuse, and he looks. He still gets a slight glint in his eyes. Not as big as the other one would have been, but he nods once. Interesting. And we've been looking into a few other things, of course. I know, of course, that you are to work on a case with one of our lovely detectives, of course. So, I won't take up too much of your time. He vouched for you, said that you're a good sword, and that you probably didn't do such a thing. Arthur Murray is always a bit like that, however. Too trusting for his own good, some others would say. But the case that you're working on, all the best with your work on it, Doctor.
I appreciate it. Will you be taking the Thompson gun with you?
Yes.
And he calls for Herbert to go and retrieve the Thompson.
He retrieves the Thompson, brings out the Tommy gun, hands it over to him, and he hands it to his assistant, who holds it in his arms and sort of nods. Thank you, Dr. VerRuckt. We'll confiscate this and ensure that none of the shenanigans that have no doubt happened with owning such a thing come back to you. But, of course, we will be keeping it locked away safely. You won't be getting it back. I hope you understand. Now, your own guns you can have in your home safely, but do not carry them in the public. If you're found with them out there by any of the Death Watch, for example, you would be arrested or killed on the spot, depending on their mood.
And so if the city is overrun, stay in my house and fight the animals.
Yes, Dr. VerRuckt. If the city is overrun, that's what we have the Death Watch for, he says, and sort of just sits back and takes another puff. I hope you have a good day, Dr. VerRuckt. We'll be back to speak soon, and we will be seeing your friends to check that every one of your details is, of course, correct.
Yes. I appreciate your service. Thank you.
And you. Have a good day, Dr. VerRuckt. He stands and makes his way out. And as he's sort of walking out, he does turn and go, Detective Howard, by the way, Benedict Howard. If you need me for any reason, or if you remember any new details, Mr. VerRuckt, please find me in Scotland Yard, or of course, if I'm on a case, they'll send a message. He turns and leaves. The door shutting behind them, and the tea arrives as he leaves.
Peter saying, and he takes the tea and he goes to tip it back like you would hard liquor, and then realizes it's hot tea and sips it and takes it with him to the lab. Oh, thank you, Hannah.
And Hannah kind of nods and smiles at you, but looks very confused and a bit concerned. And meanwhile, across the city, Delilah, you've woken up, and everything has been a very delightful evening. You've had your breakfast served and you've eaten. And Ned looks around before he simply states, I'll be going, of course, into my labs for the day. I have much cleaning to do and a lot of work, so I will be away for the day. If there is any business that you need me for, of course, just ring the bell.
Well, you know, darling, we are having that party today. Do not forget. I've already selected your seat, don't worry. That's the first
Thank
thing.
you.
And, of course, if you do find anything else amiss, don't forget to take pictures for Miss Tilly.
Yes. If I find anything else at all, I will tell Tilly, of course. But until then, I have a few schematics to work on, a few more ideas. Mr. Carlyle's combustion engine is a very interesting concept. I wish to trial a few things and perhaps see if I can find some of his old drawings before he, of course, decided to get dropped off in New York, of all places.
Who is Mr. Carlyle?
Is that Carlyle,
engineer?
The engineer, the engine boy. The one who was always so
yes.
oily.
Ah, yes, I remember that very,
Lovely man.
Yes,
Another
the
Brit.
faux pas, yes.
Yes, of course. But yes, genius. I'm going to work on some of those things today. And of course, if I see anything else, I will take a picture for Miss Griffiths. If you need me, I will be in my lab, my dear. Have a lovely day. And I'll see you at the party, of course. You will be there, right?
Ned. Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Hopefully. I told you about my potential of slipping out tonight. Maybe. I hope not.
Well, you could probably just get a better fit of dress.
No,
Surely.
darling, I meant the theater I spoke to you
Oh,
about.
right, that thing. Yes, that's fine. Go see your
Yes.
play.
Yes.
I will entertain.
She smiles and, well, kind of, and Ned. One
Yes.
very important thing.
Yes, yes.
I love you.
Thank you. You too, for what it's worth, he says, and sort of straightens himself
She kisses
out.
his cheek, and we'll like let him do his thing because he
Yes,
loves doing
thank
his
you.
genius people.
I must get to work. I don't know how long it's been. I was trapped in that place for a long time, he says as he sort of avoids the mirrors again as usual. But I'm sure I'll find out. Yes. I have a few things to work on for this evening as well, so have a lovely day, my dear, he says, and begins to walk off and leaves you for your day. What are you going to do for your day?
Well, she's gonna do this on an empty stomach because she doesn't want to puke. She will take a tiny little dagger that Ned got her once upon a time. It's basically a letter opener, a very glorified one. And stash it behind her little fan. Just like, okay, I am armed and dangerous. And
Okay.
we'll channel that, and she's gonna go talk to a particular freeloader in her house that she needs to kick out.
No problem. And meanwhile, as you walk towards the freeloaders' room to kick them out, Miss Fairchild, it's the morning and you're making your way back towards your home to relieve Tilly of her duty and, of course, to get yourself a bit of rest, more so than just meditation. And it's on your way that you pass a strange-looking little pie shop. It's tucked away in between what looks to be an old factory and a shoe store. And it's just a very small thing. It's almost like a cupboard more than anything else.
I haven't
It's
eaten all
called the
night,
Puppet Pie
so
Shop.
I'm just gonna dart in really quick.
And you
Smell.
step into the pie shop,
Mm.
and it says that they're the architect of pies, the very origin of them in London.
Knowing what I do about what I've eaten in pies in London over the past 40 odd years, that's slightly worrying, but I'm very hungry and the smell is nice. Are there any cakes anywhere?
No cakes, only pie. A lot of
Okay.
pie. Pies of different sorts, of fruit. And they seem to have a special today. It says that they have a special pie on today that is one of the first pies that they'd ever made in this store. It's a simple thing, but they don't say the ingredients. However, it looks delicious, and it says the price is free. Free pie.
I have to make a will roll to eat a meal that doesn't involve cake now. because of my ravenous. Because cake is my. So, but the smell, like I haven't eaten all night, so it's starting to get to me. So
It is. It
can I make
smells
my
like
will
one of the
concentration?
most delicious pies that you've ever smelled.
Mhm.
It's free. It's in front of you. You haven't eaten all night.
Okay, I'm gonna eat the pie.
You step forward and take a piece of the pie. And can you roll me a D2, please?
Okay. Okay, I've completely
Okay.
forgotten how to roll on that.
Slash die. Space
Thank you.
1D2. All good?
Yep.
So let's have a look at what you get.
There we go.
Okay, on a 1. You eat a slice of pie, and it tastes good. Very good. You feel a buzz run through you, and you feel energized. You feel like you don't need sleep. Not right now. You've eaten pie. Pie's good. There's a taste of meat and a sort of sweet sauce. It's delicious. And as you do take a slice and eat it so ravenously as you are, of course, known for, a person comes out from the back. A very portly man with a green shirt and a brown waistcoat and a pair of purple trousers. A bald head and a curled moustache upon his face. As he steps out and goes, yeah. You've enjoyed the pies? Good.
Yes,
Good.
yes, quite.
Special. It's one of the first pies that we ever made in this city. And of course, we are, of course, the originators of pies. There was me, and before me, there was, of course, my father, and before them, there was theirs.
That's generally how it goes.
Yes, but you're in luck. You came in at just the right time and ate the special slice, he says and smiles at you. You see, here at the cupboard shop, we have a sort of deal. You see, when somebody comes in and takes a piece of the free pie on this day of all days, then they get free pie for life. Of course, this pie, we don't deviate from flavors. There is a very specific thing in which we have to do. You get this pie, the architect of all pies, the origins of them, you could say. Every day, a free one.
That is truly incredible. May I ask what
Indeed it is, he says and turns around before he grabs a box.
pie, and I'm suspicious as heck.
Yeah, it's delicious. It's got some nice veggies in it, a sweet sauce. It has some
Can
beef
I tell
in it,
what
of all
meat
things.
it is?
Beef.
Okay, I feel better about this now.
And he hands you over a box with a pie in it, steaming hot. If you come back every day, I can give you one of these. They'll be better on some days and less good on others. That's just how baking works. Still, so long as, of course, you come back and get some more, I'll be happy to give you it for life. I have enough business coming through. And you look quite hungry. I've never seen anybody eat my pie with such gusto before.
It's been said, I must admit.
It has by me right now. I'll put it on a platter for you, and we'll place it up,
That's
along with your name, Pie for Life.
necessary.
It's very necessary.
Right. You will be needing my
Most-
name, I suppose.
Yes, I would, please.
Miss
I remember
Fair.
faces very well. Miss Fairchild. Very interesting first name, of course, he says, and puts it down on a placket as he sort of writes it down. I'll get it carved in some sort of steel, and I'll put it on the wall, on a placard, with the other names, of course.
Right.
There's no other name yet, but there's yours. You're the
Mm,
first.
of course. Right.
You could say you're the
I'm
architect.
slightly backing away with pie in hand, kind of.
It smells so good.
Mhm.
Well, you have a lovely day, Miss Fairchild. Remember, come back every day. I'll give you a new one. Share it with your friends, your family, whoever you wish. Pie is a good thing to share, especially in dark times like these.
I'm sure. Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome, says the strange portly man as he sort of begins to wobble off back into the back end of the shop.
There's a moment of the eyes just going down to purple trousers and then back up, and then she leaves. Just, nope.
Pie in hand, as you make your way slowly back towards the your own apartment, and it seems to go twice as quick as usual. Your legs seem to be particularly quick today. Your issues that you normally have with your irritable heart don't seem to bother you after you've eaten some of this pie this morning. You feel very good. You feel a rush. Perhaps it's the free aspect of it, that strange word that you're not used to seeing anywhere. But whatever it is, it fuels you.
I put one I put one of my canes like over my arm, and just like kind of walk with one. Kind of, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, feels good. And being a tree for an evening seems to have helped your back a little. It's all good. And you do arrive back at your own apartment, and of course you let yourself in. And Tilly, you hear the sound of the locks going. And you're stirred from your nap.
Oh, right. Yeah, she'll get up, she'll smooth herself down, and she'll just immediately go into the kitchen and begin making some food.
No problem. You begin at the same time as Miss Fairchild arrives, just up the stairs as you manage to get the stove going with a full box with a pie in it.
Oh, Miss Griffiths.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You
Have
didn't,
you been here all night?
you didn't come back, so don't worry, I slept on the couch.
That's not. That's fine. Thank you for checking in on Havelock.
He's all right. He's been fast asleep all night. I've started breakfast, but have you?
I believe I have breakfast. It was free.
Free?
I'll put the box down on the table, almost like a bomb. Just like, it's a very odd occasion.
Yes, free.
Apparently.
You haven't sold your soul by accident, have you?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right.
Anyway.
What is it?
It's pie. It's rather nice. I'm not usually fond of pie, but it really, and she starts opening the box. It's really quite nice.
It does look good. It's perfectly golden. It's completely uncut at the moment, and it is very nice smelling. It has a sort of little brand on the top of it. It's a little seared, sort of burnt bit that is of a strange sort of looking portly man with chubby cheeks and a big moustache. It's just his head on the middle of the pie.
Does it look like the guy in the purple pants?
It does. It's exactly like the guy in the purple pants, but almost has a little bit of a look of like, the Pringle guy on him with like the massive ass moustache.
I've thought of the Monopoly Man. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's another one.
It's the Monopoly Man.
It's another one definitely to look at.
It's quite a charming little fellow. I would have thought you had eaten it by now.
I had a piece.
Did you? She looks at the untouched.
This is a second pie.
Right. Okay. Oh, that makes so much more sense. Well, would you like anything else for breakfast? Other than pie?
No, I think I'll go wake Havelock.
All right.
He should eat breakfast, growing boy, and everything.
Yes. Does he have a preference?
I mean, I'll just have pie, he says as he comes out. That'll do.
You get quiet all day. I don't know how it's possible, but you do.
Yeah, well, I mean... Well, anyway, he says, and you all sit down. And as you do, Tilly, you feel energized. You feel full of energy. You feel like you've had a full night's sleep instead of only part of a night's sleep, and you feel very full. It's a very good pie.
It's a excellent pie.
Unnatural energy, almost. Perhaps it's the power of free.
Cocaine, she says as she looks at it.
It might be.
I just feel very awake all of a sudden and very good. And
hey, if Coca-Cola could get away with it in those times, so can this man's pie shop.
Yes. Never mind. I can't. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
It's not horse. It's beef.
Don't look a crack pie in the crust.
God damn it. Oh yes, I have to get back to my... No, I probably shouldn't feed him a slice of this, should I? He would run around a lot and it would lose a lot of weight. No. No. I think I have to be getting off. I feel like I have a lot to do today. Yes.
Oh, of course, and then I'll see you at Lady Barclay's, and then the theatre.
Are we making an appearance there first?
I believe she wished so, and Havelock would rather like to see the little Lord Barclay again.
Oh,
yes,
Havelock's coming.
It certainly beats being in here all day, every day.
Yes, yes, it would.
Read all my books 3 times.
3 times?
Working on the 4th.
I should bring you some
Her
more.
child looks like both really, really smug because her child is a genius, but also kind of like, oh, I'm such a bad parent.
Miss Fairchild.
And with that in mind, you have a lovely breakfast. And you, at the other hand, what do you do for the day? What's your business for the day? We'll go across to VerRuckt and we'll see what it is you're doing on this day, at least, before, of course, the evening's party. So, Dr. VerRuckt, what would you be up to for this day? Of course, you've just had your scary visit from the detectives.
And his OCD is like through the roof because now he doesn't have a gun and there's an empty spot on his harness and that's freaking him out. Though they didn't take his pistol, so he leaves the pistol in the drawer in the lab and puts the rest of his accoutrement on and dons his greatcoat. I think he's also going to get a haircut because he is afraid of the encounter he had last time with the Death Watch and the streets. So he will be obs getting a new look, and
Okay.
and then trying to find Shoeshine Sean for
Okay, no problem.
the invitation was plus one Shoeshine boy. And
It certainly was. I think give you a streetwise check.
Sure. If one does not have streetwise,
And you just roll me 2 straight d10s, please.
okay. Button 8.
Okay, you realize that you have no idea where to go to get your haircut. You don't know if there's any sort of hair cutteries. You're unsure what they're called. You've never had your haircut in this country at a barber's or anything. You've never been to anything like that. The last time you cut your hair was when you were in the army.
Exactly.
That was many years ago. And then since then, you've had trims, but never have you ever managed to actually get a haircut. You're racking your brain and you think perhaps one of your other allies may know, one of your friends in the city may know where you could do this and acquire such a haircut.
Okay.
Who do you wish to go to for assistance?
He originally thinks Magdalena, but then starts to think of the physiology of the Dampier and Vampire and thinks better of it. So
You also managed to remember to hear, "I will be training Chicken Boy, do not disturb me,"
yes.
as they laugh.
And so that's his first inclination, but then he thinks, boy, he just doesn't think like normal folks. So I guess he would. Yeah, I guess in the end, Lady Berkeley is always well coiffed, and so he would head to the Berkeley Manor.
So you head to the coiffery as you make your way over towards Delilah Berkeley's house, which we will get back to as that will be your order of business for the day. And you unfortunately don't manage to find Sean just yet. What about yourself, Miss Fairchild? What would your day's business be?
Knowing that I'm going to be going to Lady Berkeley's for one of, like, a party event, and Havelock is also going, I would probably spend the day kind of getting out the really, really never really touched formal clothes that we do own, and laundering them, and basically just like going over work with Havelock and trying to make his tiny existence better within our 4 walls. But yeah, lots of laundry because I've got to look nice.
Fair, and that's what you do for your day.
Yeah.
You clean, you get ready, and you prepare. Nothing much happens aside from that. It's luckily quite calm after your last evening's craziness for the most part. But could you give me a very quick wit check, please, as it gets to around the afternoon? Around 5 p.m. You've only got a short while until you need to be at Miss Berkeley's, but still. On an 18. You hear what seems to be quite the crowd gathering just across the courtyard from your home. You know that there's a nice wide open space away from this area, just sort of a little distance away, and you do see there a lot of people gathering there, and you can hear the ringing of a bell. And as you peek out slightly to have a look, you do see that there seems to have been a gallows that's being set up.
I'm going to make sure Havelock is away from windows, has a nice book on crime and punishment probably, and then I'm going to lock all the doors and go see what's going on.
So you lock the doors and you begin to make your way out. And it is quite the sight. There are tens upon tens of people here. Sort of a massive crowd is formed, and even more are forming, and the bell is still ringing out there as well. And you hear a few things. You hear that there seems to have been a criminal court. They said that they have seemingly got to the bottom of a part of a case. apparently one of the people involved in the shattering of the dome and, of course, the deaths of many nobles and many others who are visiting a Halloween event has been found and charged. It's said they're to be hanged today, within the hour. But that's what you get from the crowd around you who's babbling. There's no officials yet standing on the gallows to, of course, announce the person and loop the noose around their neck. Not yet, but soon. But as you hear that, you haven't seen VerRuckt in a while.
I can't remember if I actually know that it was VerRuckt because I was behind everyone with Havelock, so I don't actually think I know that.
I know who it is, but you haven't seen any of your friends around.
I would find the person who's ringing the bell, because that tends to be more to do with the activities than your average commoner, and inquire as to what's happening more directly.
So as you do, you begin to try and have a look around, see who you can find, and eventually you do find an official. You see the person ringing the bell, who you approach, and he looks at you and smiles very politely. Welcome, miss. What can I do for you? We're having a hanging today. I'm sorry if we've disturbed you from your evening, your afternoon. I know it's New Year's Eve, but we got to do our business. I'm sure you understand, Mom.
Entirely. I mean,
good.
Have crime without punishment. I heard it was something to do with the Halloween event.
Oh, yeah, it was actually. So you heard about all the, the death that was happening on that night? You know, the people that were stabbed, killed, the massive ceiling fell in on them, people getting, lung issues from all the smog that managed to funnel in when none of them were wearing their respirators. A lot of damage done, a lot of damage. But you see, there was a few people involved in that event. Of course, one of them was responsible is, of course, the carnival themselves. They were to keep the event safe. They were to make sure that things went smoothly. They were told their rules. Now, it seems, at least, that the owner of the circus, Mr. Phineas Mac III, I believe he calls himself, at the Starfall Fair, unfortunately, has got himself in quite a pickle on account of him, being complicit in killing that many people. Now, he refused to name his accomplices in doing the act, and has been known to speak out against a few of the upper crust, you could say. So, unfortunately for him, he's going to have a short drop, ain't he?
Short drop and a sudden stop. Terrible thing.
He smiles a bit as he kind of looks and he goes, "Oh, it is terrible, miss. Terrible. But the hanging will be happening within the hour. Around 6 p.m. today, we'll be getting him up. He'll be taking his drop. We'll be, of course, letting him have his last words, and then that's all they're routing it. It's got an hour to, of course, rat out those who did it. I doubt he's going to, though. But we've got a rope to test soon. So if you are here for the viewing, as I know at least a few of these lot are, you'll at least get to see it on something not live before something live. Got to make sure it's, good enough drop.
Well, thank you, but I'm more than familiar with the not alive. And she'll kind of just
sure you are,
back,
he says,
incline her head, and then leave.
And you do. You make your way back up into your house. Your laundry is...
Havelock.
Okay, he says, and doesn't question you. Knows better. Doesn't want to get into an argument over it. But as for the rest of you, Dr. VerRuckt, you're walking towards Delilah's, and as you are, you do see a crowd gathering. Quite a big crowd. And you do see the distant, very ominous wooden structure of some gallows that have been constructed. Commonplace for them to be.
The crowds always remind him of waves of dead, so he tries to steer around it. And
begin to try. You kind of edge around the corners, but it's getting very packed. And even yourself, Taylor Griffiths, as you go about your business for your day, you do notice the crowd as well. You know this site very well. It seems a criminal is in court there to be hanged. A very common thing to happen.
All right.
You know the crowds can be quite ravenous for blood. Keep from, of course, the medieval times. They've always loved a bit of blood and execution, have the British.
Yeah, I think with that in mind, she'd actually stay away. She had plans to go and visit Claybury anyway, so she's not really going to be outside.
Yeah, no problem. You'd have been outside anyway, walking towards visiting somebody, but you do avoid the crowd for the most part. You make your way around it. And yes. Still, Dr. VerRuckt, you managed to get your way around the back end of the crowd, but you do hear a few words stated as you hear the crier talking, and you do hear the same things that Miss Fairchild heard, who is to be hanged, why, and that they are a part of the accomplices who had caused such a disaster to the Upper London citizens. It seems Phineas is to take a fall partly for you.
The doctor, being familiar with the swift justice of the English, is basically in his head that could have been him 20 years ago, pretty easily, and continues on. There's nothing he can do, so he'll shuffle past and just internally have some modicum of guilt, but realize his work must go on.
And as you make your way past the crowd, Doctor, a voice does break out from around the side, where they have currently got a carriage with a holding cell on the back of it. And seeing you in your stark white hair and your obvious getup, you do hear a voice come from behind, inside of the cart, as the voice of Phineas comes out. Doctor, that's you, isn't it? Please help. There's been a dreadful mistake. I'm sure you can set it right. You were there that night, yes?
Yes. So I know that the English are brusque in their deliberation and
that doesn't help me, Doctor. Please, you know what happened, right?
Yes.
That could save me. Please, just find them. Just tell them what happened, please.
And
I don't want to die, Doctor.
What are the charges against you exactly?
They believe that I was a part of a group that damaged it, that we planned it to get them all there with my circus and to run the event, and then we would do that. And most of Upper London would feel it. They believe that I may be associated with those Americans, the anarchists from years ago. They believe that maybe I was helping them, but I wasn't, I swear. And you know, Doctor, you saw me that evening.
I will see what I can do. And he reaches into his bag and he pulls out a few pills and says, if it comes time and we have not been able to right this situation, take these. And I'll hand him the pills.
He takes them, but kind of looks at you. I
am on my way.
But it'll be fine, right? They won't hang me. I'm innocent. I didn't do anything.
I'm on my way to Lady Berkeley's. We'll see what we can do.
Please, Lady Berkeley will know what to do, if anybody, please. Perhaps the detective. They'll know. They know many things, right? They were investigating a crime. Maybe it happened when they were chasing that killer, the one that ruined the event.
Maybe I shall talk to them.
Please, Doctor, I don't have long.
And until I return, calm and relax. Anything you say will just make it worse.
It's hard to be relaxed when I can see them setting up a gallows across there where I'm to hang. But I will try, Doctor. Just please, hurry.
I shall.
I want to hang for something I didn't do. If I'd done it, at least there would be some sort of justice to it.
Recompense.
But it wasn't.
Good luck
All I
to
wanted
you.
to do was to bring London some cheer.
I understand. And the doctor will
He sinks back into the shadows.
Militarily turn and walk away, like, you know, head pounding, and trying to stuff down any sort of emotion and whatnot to so that he can continue to think clearly.
Okay,
but
and you do. You try. And you keep trying, but your brain is running through those thoughts, and having a recent spell where you thought about Adam doesn't help the one that died in the trenches. Another innocent. And you make your way over towards Lady Berkeley. In good time. Miss Fairchild, of course, you've made your way back in. You've closed the door. Miss Griffiths, you've been making your way to where today? What have you been doing for your day?
She would have made her way. She would have stopped back at home to pick up the bear of care.
The bear of care, yeah. It makes you feel immensely calm.
Yeah, and she would have hold that for a few minutes before putting it in her bag and going to Claybury.
Okay, no problem. And just to double check, Claybury being
Claybury is the asylum.
I thought it was, yes, just to make sure. And you make your way slowly there. You make your way out of the main streets into a rather quiet area, through the familiar gates and past the very wilted garden up towards the front doors of Claybury. The attendants are at the door as usual, and they look out wearing very simple, very clean white clothing. Miss Griffiths, says one of the attendants. You know the way.
Yes.
Please, come in.
How has she been?
Not been saying much recently. Had a spell of quietness. They've been not having as many attacks, but they are calm enough. They are at least eating now. The visits from the young lady seemed to help. She was happy to see somebody.
The maid?
Yes.
Has she come back?
She's been a few times, yes. She's visited a few times, brought some food with her. She's been eating, for what it's worth. I believe the doctors would know more, but at the moment, she's just resting in her room.
I do have a thing that I can bring to her, and I think it'd make her feel a little bit better. If you want. It's just this, and she brings out the bear.
He looks at the strange-looking little bear, and he kind of nods once. Well, I'd be happy for you to take that to, of course, make sure there's no sharps in it or anything like that. We don't want any accidents to happen, Miss Griffiths. But you may see if it disturbs her in any manner, though. Please remove the item.
Of course. I wish no harm.
Of course. You've been coming here often enough.
Right then. Well, thank you and good day.
Good day, he says, as you make your way through the halls, very quiet for the most part, until you hear the shouts and the yells and the jeering of people who are still going to go and care here. And you make your way past those into a quieter section where you find the room you're after.
Yeah, she'll take a moment and let's hope you can help her like you did me. And step in.
You step in, and the place, as usual, has a very small barred window. And you do see the walls of the cell are a little padded. And she's got a nice bed and table that's bolted to the floor. The corners, of course, all have rubberized ends to them. And there's the smell of just cleaning products in here and human sweat. The only two things that mark it out. And the slight perfume that they used to wear.
Yeah, and she'll come and sit down by the bedside and sort of take a look over them. Mama, are you awake?
They are awake. Their eyes are open, but they stare towards the wall.
I hear you've been having some quiet time. And that nice lady has been visiting you.
They bob their head in agreement, but still stare at the wall.
I brought something for you. If you like it, you can keep it. And she gently places one of the paws of the bear on her hand first to see.
You do so, and they seem to sort of look over it, a bit taken aback for a moment as they take the bear in their hands, and that strange, occult, calming sensation runs over them. And they sort of hold it and then hold it closer to them and look over at you. Thank you.
It's all right. I think it's I've not named it, so maybe you can name it. You've always been better at naming things.
Maybe.
I'm sorry I've not visited more. I should promise to come back. It's New Year's Day. New Year's Eve today. Yes.
Time passes very strangely here.
Yes, I suppose it does.
It's hard to notice this. You can't see the festivities from in here.
Well, unfortunately, the festivities outside aren't looking too, It's not exactly a joyous New Year's Eve.
I imagine it's more joyous than these walls.
In some respects, it's not. But I understand.
You would say that from out there.
I am sorry.
You married yet?
No.
How many grandchildren do I have?
Don't have any.
She nods.
But
perhaps next time.
You have a... Well, she kind of thinks. Well, I found a new cousin.
Oh. Which one?
On father's side. She's a child of Anton.
Oh. She sees and sort of goes a bit quiet for another moment. Such a beautiful voice, did Anton. Beautiful voice.
Her daughter has picked up the family talent.
They had a daughter.
Yes.
All I know is he killed his wife. Well, wife-to-be, his love.
That is not true.
Cold-bloodedly and was hung for his crimes.
That is not true, Mama.
What do you mean, not true? They did their investigations. They found him guilty and he hung. We saw it. Your father insisted on his brother's innocence and seeing it, but when he got there, he said he was guilty.
No. There has been recent evidence come to light that the human mind is infallible. The human heart is also. It seems there was a bit of a mix-up on purpose.
Strange.
But
Well,
regardless,
is fine now. You've met her, so I'm glad she's safe.
yes, and she has a son. His name is Teddy. Theodore.
Are you settling down yet?
No.
Found a nice partner yet? You at least stepped away from your desk for a short time.
I went on a date last night.
Oh, that's very different for you.
Yes.
So I should be expecting to hear about the grandchildren or the marriage next time you visit. In a year, perhaps.
I will visit later on this week, and I don't think I shall move that quickly, Mamma.
Let us hope not. Could have some dignity, Tilly. Marriage first.
Yes, Mamma.
Work for it. That's what happened with your father. It worked.
Yes, and quite successfully. But I will try. But I don't think the man I went on a date with is looking for that kind of commitment.
Oh, well, there's a lot of new age things, I'm sure. Wouldn't know in here. I
He's
support
quite
you.
old-fashioned in his own way, but he's a rather a strange one.
Well, I mean, that suits you. Rather restrict yourself. But as the Griffiths are.
Yes. Yes, we are. I will have to tell you something else.
Oh? What else? She says, still kind of toying with a little bear that you brought.
You know who tutored me, don't you?
Yes.
She's in a bit of trouble.
Oh, what's different?
It's not of her own making. It's not.
I still don't believe it. You could say it as much as you wish, but I still don't believe it.
Oh, well, that's fine. You don't need to believe me, but I have to go and give her some aid, and it might be a little bit dangerous. But I do my best, and I'll come back.
I'm sure your best will be fine. It will do, I think, yes. It
Yes.
always has.
Right. Is there anything else you want me to bring next time? Besides children and a husband?
Well, a week is probably too much of a rush for at least one of those things.
Yes.
But no, just return. Please.
I want to visit more often.
You should. I don't get others. Aside from that young girl that you sent, who's very nice. She brings good food.
If you like
But
good
that's
food.
a recent development. Before then, it is like an eternity between visits.
Well, you are seeming a lot more coherent now. Maybe.
Sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm not.
Maybe we can.
And the demons come back.
Well, I'm also working on getting us out of the country.
Oh?
That's why I've not been
very interesting and strange. There's no ways out.
Well, I'm working with a certain group of people right now who insist that there may be a way.
Right.
Curious. I've put forward that if I succeed in the job that I'm doing, you, myself, and my tutor will go to Italy together. Be a lovely change of pace. If you'd want that.
Maybe. But what is there in Italy that there isn't here for us?
Better wine.
I go there and the demons will still follow. They'll still haunt me.
But we'll be out of this dreadful country.
Well.
And hopefully the plague isn't spread across the seas as well.
I wouldn't know. None of us would.
Well, apparently in the New World, America, they just have war there, not plagues.
Well, we just have plagues here, not war. We don't have enough people for war.
No.
Not much point in it, really. Every war would just lead to another army rising from the dead whenever they wished.
We should not ruminate on such dreadful things, Mother. Regardless, I'm working on something to maybe get us away from here, and I could retire and I could just be.
You retire, never happening, Dilly. I won't get my hopes up.
I'm trying to make you feel better, Mother.
Well, you went on a date. That's good. You had a night off. I'm proud of you.
Yes. Well, they want to go on another one, so if you insist, then I shall ask them.
Only if you want to, dear. I won't force you. But I'm glad that you're getting out.
Well, they were quite remarkable. I called them what did I call them? I called them an alcoholic and something else, and they still didn't run away. So, maybe there is hope after all.
I mean, I told your father that a caterpillar died on his face.
I don't remember. I suppose the two are comparable.
He shaved it off. It worked.
Oh, right, I see.
And it's about that time that you see her eyes go very distant. And she stops responding. Seems you had a small time today of her being lucid.
Yeah, she'll give her a quick kiss on the forehead and tuck her in and leave the bear tucked in her lap. And, yeah.
You do so. And you head out. And you have a few hours until you, of course, need to be at Delilah Berkeley's house, and you get yourself prepared for the party ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, at Delilah's house, you're about to go and confront Mickey, the American that's been staying in your house, the one that leads one of the American gangs, and you make your way up the stairs and towards the suite that he is in.
Autumn suite.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. She will, grip her fan like this and will, before knocking on the door.
Yeah,
Mickey?
just leave it outside. It's fine. I'll
me.
come and grab it in a minute. Oh. I guess I'll come and grab you now, he says, and sort of opens the door and looks out. Hey, Delilah. How's it going? What's up? I was just doing a few things,
Doing a few what things? Might I come in?
like preparations and things. But yeah, it's your house. I ain't gonna stop you.
Sure.
Kind of
I'll
own
go
it.
in and sit down. We must speak.
All right, he says and takes a seat. All right, well, we're speaking. We got that bit already, at least.
You didn't kill him, did you?
I didn't kill who?
My father.
Oh, I thought you were gonna talk about Ned and that he got shot. And I was gonna be like, no, it ain't me. I was sleeping.
That is fine and in perfect health. Thank you.
Good. I'm sure he is. I'm mighty appreciative that he let me stay in his house for so long. Not that he had a say in it, but
You're avoiding the subject, Mickey.
Avoiding what? There's a lot of subjects, Delilah.
My father, the one who raised me, who got into debt with you when he put me through school.
It's
the reason we met.
It's a broad category. Yeah, my dad, he had a lot of debtors, a lot of people who were.
You're the one who specifically contacted me, who specifically waited at my house, telling me how my father died, and you saw.
Yeah, I did see. He died.
He's not. He's alive. Did you know he was a murderer?
He's a what? Most
he murdered
people
my
are.
Mother.
Oh, that's not good. No, I didn't know about that. What do you mean he murdered your ma?
A very long story, Mickey. I'm looking into
Thought she died like a horse accident. That's what I heard.
And I heard differently when I was young as well. But that man who raised me is not only the one who murdered my mother, but somehow, if you are to be corrected, slipped past the American mob.
look, people don't slip past. They have a leave of absence, and then we find them.
All right, then how is it for all these years you've never once mentioned that he was alive? Or how are you surprised now, taken off guard by this information, Mickey?
I was meant to be seeing him. I was like, hey, Dad, what's going on? He was like, hey, son. Yeah, I whacked him. And I was like, fine, that's fair enough. I'll tell Delilah you whacked him. And he was like, yeah, you do that. And then I did.
I am so very sick of boys telling me what they've answered to their fathers and having no real facts to tell me.
I mean,
You're telling me.
Dad. He says he kind of looks at you. Yeah,
Yes, I remember him.
I had to do what he said.
You're telling me your father let that murderer go?
No, I whacked him.
He did not. He's alive. He is roaming around, still, unharmed.
Yeah, that is weird. He says, sort of scratches his head a bit. Yeah, no, I mean, he did say he did it. I didn't see it, but he said he did it, which is as good as seeing it for me. But if he's saying he's alive, that's a bit of a problem. I mean, he was meant to whack him. Doesn't look good in us.
It doesn't.
Plus, if he killed your mom, that's pretty fucked up. I ain't into that, you know. I didn't want to hurt you. I have a lot of select thoughts about a lot of things, but this time here has really sort of mellowed me out a bit. I've had a bit of life of luxury, gained a couple pounds.
You have mellowed out quite physically too.
Yeah, I know. No, I'll get that back.
Being here is
I don't know how you're not like 20 stone more than you are with this kind of a lifestyle.
Because I watch my figure, darling.
So
do you know those champagne bottles I hold? They make wonderful weights. You can hold them while you do lunges. Did you know that, dear?
No, I was usually just drinking them, I'll be honest. He's a kind of smiles at you. But anyway, point is, Delilah, I didn't know about it, but maybe I can help you. You want to find him? You want to have him whacked? We can deal with that.
It's less about finding him at this moment. It's something else. This is one thing, separate.
All right, this is a big talk. All right, I'll get myself settled in. He says and just kind of pours himself a whiskey and sits down. All right, what's talking point number 2? He says he sort of like sits back.
Do you not think you've made yourself too comfortable here?
I mean, yeah, but when you're in a fancy schmancy mansion and you're all, pampered like this, I mean, of course you're going to get comfortable, right? It's like living life in a whiskey-filled, like feathery cushion. It's quite nice, warm.
Ned and I can't keep supporting you like this, Mickey. Yes,
yeah, I know. I'm not staying here for much longer.
He
says, kind of just.
I've given you plenty of time. And it's been months.
Things. I get it, Delilah. I get it. I'm thankful. I'm very grateful for that. I've given you a lot as well.
I'm grateful to you for keeping me away from the police. But
yeah, you're right. They're really closing in.
She nods. I understand that. But you do know what you're doing here. What about that?
So, of course, your charges are dropped. But there's a bit I've been looking into things. I haven't been just sitting here on my ass getting fat. I've been doing that, but I've also been looking into a couple things going on with the feds, And, well, I will say that it's supposed to be a hanging happening today.
Hanging?
Yeah, hanging, the British love it. What do they call it? A shuffle and a plop? I don't know. They have like a whole rhyme about it. But the point is...
awful!
They happen like every day, but this one relates to you, and I don't mean it's you. That'd be a really weird way of dropping it on you. No, and that wasn't a pun, by the way, but it was good if it was. So if it made you laugh, then it is. But anyway, the circus man. The circus man. What's his name?
Mr. Phineas, was it?
Yeah, no, Phineas Mac. No. Yeah, mac and cheese. That's how I remember. Yeah, Phineas Mac. Yeah, he's to hang for the crime of shattering some sort of dome. Apparently had a lot of accomplices and things. They try to pin it on us, the Americans. But, a few of my guys, they told them, nah, it wasn't us. If we did it, it'd have been those anarchists, and we don't fuck with them. You know, we're a business.
You have been keeping tabs on her, haven't you? I told you about the weapon she got. Speaking of anarchists.
Yeah, I've been keeping tabs on her. She's been making some big moves. I'm gonna go meet her in a couple of days. I'll see if we can sort a few things out. You know how it is. But yeah. Why? Is everything all right?
What do you mean?
Because you know, you got the sour face on. You're looking all pissy. I'm gonna leave. I just said I will. But you're still fuming.
Soon, Mickey.
Yeah,
you can't.
I was
always
packing
be
as you came in.
I look around. Has he been packing?
Yeah, he's been packing. He's got a case on the side and everything.
And another thing is, I just don't want to see you die.
Yeah,
Mickey.
Don't worry about that. I ain't gonna die.
This is going to keep escalating and escalating until one of you or Robbie Carr, one of you is going to die. Why don't you just go
it sounds
back to
about right.
America? I've asked you and pleaded.
Look.
The airships will be up again soon. Ned is working on it. Apparently one of his engineers is coming back with some blueprint.
Well, you know, if you get an airship up and running, I'll be happy to go back over to the new country. I came here to help you out. But, you know, you don't need that anymore. That much is clear from here.
I wanted you to have a nice life, Mickey.
Yeah, well, you know, when you're involved in the kind of people I am, and when you're born to the dad that I was, that ain't gonna happen. But, you know, I did what I could. Yeah, I came over here, kept the cops off of you. Otherwise, you'd have been the one in those gallows quite a while back.
She nods.
Quite the scene. But, you know, I did that without a cost. But you helped me, so thank you. But I'll get out of here. Well, you know, you get stabbed in the chest in here, and you get beaten up by a load of weird-ass widow people, and, you know, and it gives you a new lease on life, you know?
Those widows really did you in, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem for me, but, you know, it is what it is. You know, maybe it was therapy for him, you know, maybe I'm atoning, he says, and sort of smiles at you a bit.
We both know you won't atone.
Yeah, no, I ain't doing that, but, you know, sin's too fun. But I'll be out of your hair, Delilah, don't worry about it, you won't see me much again. Well, you might, depends on what business you get involved in. But, you know, if anything with Posh Boy doesn't work out, you know where to find me.
I've said this already. I love him.
Yeah, I know. But, you know, when that falls through, you know where I'll be. Always be there for you, you know? Always gonna be there, Delilah. Always.
She'll kind of pretend to hide. She'll kind of straighten up a bit to hide the shiver. But she'll force a smile, and thank you. Now, if you excuse me, I have a New Year's Eve party to prepare for.
Yeah, enjoy that.
If you do not want to be caught in the eye of high society, I suggest making yourself scarce before 5 tonight.
And I could try and bag myself a posh wife, you know? He sort of smiles at you a bit. Nah, I couldn't do that. I
not wish that misfortune on anyone.
Wow. It's
she
pretty
just
brutal.
looks at him. It's like, look, Mickey, you're good in certain aspects. She kind of glances over at the bed, but not very good in stability.
I'll take the compliment.
She kind of just shakes her head, gets up, and walks away.
The whiskey, and then but Delilah, if I hear anything about your, you know, you're not dad, I'll let you know.
I appreciate it, Mickey.
It's all right. I'll send a birdie your way, or whatever they say here. I'm taking the bottle, by the way, he says, and still picks up the bottle of very expensive whiskey.
help yourself. Ned never drinks anyway. She just looks a bit like, it's actually true and it's painful. And she'll just like, she'll leave. She kind of, she closes the door behind her and just kind of.
You do. You make your way out, and Mickey continues to pack. And it's at that time that you hear a knocking on your door, and it's opened. You hear the familiar tones of Dr. VerRuckt's voice.
Ah, the doctor. I'm hoping there's going to be some good news. She said, she gets her servants to go open the door.
They opened it already. They've got him inside. They've set him down in the parlor ready for you. They're very efficient.
Doctor, there you are. Yeah, she'll kiss him like on this thing, the cheek. And thank goodness you're here. I am in desperate need of some good news. Tell me, has there been anything nice?
And it's his face sours, and he begins with, Lady Berkeley, I have originally was coming here to ask you for a haircutter person, a recommendation, but...
Oh, yes, I do absolutely recommend my friend Rouge. That's not her real name, by the way, but she does prefer the more fashionable ways to do things. I can get her in quite quickly. I just need to send a servant over.
And he holds the word. He holds the word he was gonna say the whole time. You say that tirade without taking a breath, and then exhales. But a situation has arisen that I do believe I need to speak with Ned about.
Oh dear. Oh, okay. Haircut first, or speak with Ned? He's currently in his lab, of course, so I'd have to ring the special bell to get him to come out.
How about you ring the bell, Ned and I talk, you make arrangements for the shrub trimmings.
I just immediately shoot a glance at one of my maids, like, send for Rouge. It's a fashion emergency. And then we'll smile and just, very well, now that I'm done with that, let us go.
They do. Your fashion emergency squad leave to go and find Rouge. And meanwhile, you ring the bell, and in about 5 minutes
summon my husband.
Ned appears as you summon him with the summoning bell, and he arrives kind of peeking out of his door. Dr. VerRuckt, welcome, he says, and sort of opens his door more wide. Welcome back. Is it about the research? How's it going?
I would like to speak to you.
It's been a while in the mirror.
I understand. Let us step inside and.
Yes, come in. He says, we'll get you in.
Would I be so rude as to join you two, or did you want me to leave the two of you alone?
Lady Berkeley, I have something, another favor to ask. Could you retrieve Tilly and Miss Fairchild, or Miss Griffith, Miss Fairchild, and Magdalena?
Well, I did send them the invitation for today. You received it, didn't you? Did you manage to find Sean?
I have not located the young shoeshine boy as of yet.
Oh, how very unfortunate. You would love him, by the way, Ned. By the way, but they should come anytime, soon. I did ask for them to come earlier, so hopefully.
So is it close? Is it close to
and
time?
It's about that time,
anyway?
that you realize. It's about that time, and at the front door.
What? My day's gone by like that?
Oh yes.
It's 4 already.
I would talk to Ned briefly, and then I would join you.
Very well. Delilah will lean in and go kiss Ned on the cheek. He's like, won't be long, darling.
No problem. I'll be in here. Just ring the bell when you're ready for me. I'll be here post haste, he says, and shuts the door.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Tilly and Miss Fairchild, you have both arrived at the door. You've found your various ways here. You've dealt with your business for the day, and you've managed to make it to the front door of Delilah once again. You're let in. You're left into the parlor. You have various cakes and some tea.
Do I have Havelock with me? Because I believe the invitation was for both.
To bring them. If you do, they're here.
Yes. He's
Havelock
in
is with
his
you.
nice little Sunday best, which also kind of looks like funereal gear because I have
And-
one.
And as he arrives in his funeral gear, one of the servants does see the young man and goes, "Oh, Lord, Mr. Havelock, would you like to come with us to go and find the Lord?" He looks up at you. "Can I go?"
I nod. Yes, of course. You came to
Thank you.
see Lord Barkley.
Of course, we'll take them right to Lord Berkeley. Come on, we'll show you to Teddy. And he begins to lead him away towards the young lord, so the two of them can at least enjoy their evening and not be bogged down with adult talk.
I look very happy. I'm like, I finally found a friend for my little boy because, he's too smart for everyone else. And,
Has anyone
neither
seen my
are
dog?
smart.
Can you roll him to me, please? Where is he?
My dear, I'm very sorry about this. Delilah goes and takes Tilly's hands. I'm so sorry about Gabe. My chef took him.
Now I know
He might.
How much has he eaten exactly in calories?
Well, my chef is what's a calorie, dear?
It's a unit of energy.
Oh, how
wow.
very interesting. He's
As
had
you
no
say, what's a
energy, but
calorie?
my chef is
Dr. VerRuckt.
French.
Dr. VerRuckt, you are in the lab privately. You've had a bit of time whilst this has been going on, and you're led through into Ned's own library and study, which is a glorious-looking place. You see mechanical devices sort of half-constructed all over the place. You see what seems to be a half-scale, sort of strange-looking ship thing. You're unsure what that is sort of just hung up above with some ladders leading to it. Looks very strange. And you also see a lot of other little mechanical devices that he's been working on, including one that looks almost akin to a person, though made entirely of brass. And he sort of leads you over to a small table where he's currently got a pot of tea and some tea, and he pours you a glass and puts about 5 sugars in and then passes it over to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, of course.
Takes it and then looks for a coaster or somewhere to set a saucer of
There's books and blueprints over every surface, but you manage to move some and place them to the side, and you find a chair, and you manage to sit down as he sort of leans against sort of a pile of books lightly and takes a sip. "So, Doctor, what is there to ask me? Oh, and welcome to the lab, by the way. I meant to show you this a while ago. I've got a medical one as well, and a few others. This is just my more study area. There's not too much that's impressive here, but in my other ones, there's some interesting stuff. The entire wing of the household is, in fact, very, very kept and locked tight and safe. Reinforced. No entrances or exits aside from those that I know of."
It is an amazing place, but I fear that
Thank you.
I may not have as much time as we thought.
What do you mean, Doctor? What's going on?
The LOL Society has noticed my presence, and I also my involvement in the recent collapse of the dome has left us in a situation that I fear may result in my incarceration at minimum and execution at maximum.
Poppycock, we'll deal with that.
I would appreciate that, but I cannot.
Then we find another way. We set you up a lab nearby. You can take my medical wing. We will fund your research here. We will ensure that, of course, your identity is safe. And if the Love Society try to move against you, I will move against them. Simple. I have my people. They'll do what they need to do. I won't have you taken from me, Doctor. Your research is very valuable.
I understand, but I cannot live if another man dies for my mistake.
That part is more complicated.
Understand.
I cannot give an answer on that. What I can say is I will protect you with all that I can. There may be a way around this, but if the public wish to see someone hang, they will see someone hang. You will need to find a replacement. But you do have the detective, and you have the rest to, of course, think on. Maybe they have a way around this. Maybe they can find some way of dealing with this. Perhaps a replacement, or perhaps they can just get him off of the charges. But regardless, you are not to hang.
I would appreciate any help at all.
I'll give you any help you need, Doctor.
I would tell you first.
Neglected my responsibilities as a patron as of late, on account of me not being here, but that's no excuse.
I made do, and Herbert has been left with instructions to give you all of my research in case things add badly.
Well, I'll be happy to receive it, but I would rather keep you, Doctor. I mean, you're very valuable to me and to our research, of course, and the rest of our advances in human sciences. But Doctor, as far as it goes, I am sure you can find a way through this, and cannot is not the word of a scientist. You haven't tested it yet.
And he smiles, and he is actually kind of blushing and flush with the praise of Ned, because Ned's like one of the only people that he respects on an intellectual level. And he would be like, let us hope for the best.
Of course, but speaking of, so while you're here, I did have a few things to show you, such as the mystery of how I came to be here. He points up. That's not the full-size one, that's a half-size replica. Doesn't work entirely as well. It's more of a personal traveling vehicle. We are trying to small scale down things. And at the moment, they're quite bloated, but we managed to cross the oceans with them. You call it a sky ship, an airship, almost. If we can't sail the oceans, there's too many terrors down there that completely destroy travel. Short travel is fine, but long travel boggles the mind, it destroys the soul, you know, it takes people down. Ships go missing, people go missing, cargo goes missing. Cannot deal with that. So we thought, why not the skies? If the oceans are so treacherous, then the clouds must not be.
So the dredgeable design is interesting. How are you keeping afloat?
Mostly some very interesting inventions. Collection of them. I was working on them for years. My father before me was working on some of the parts, and I just put them together, a puzzle that I needed to form in my mind. But one of my engineers is not with me. I need to make some repairs on a certain engine. It's a troublesome thing. But I'm more concerned with the fact that one of my blueprints was disturbed, perhaps missing. I think it relates to this. I don't know how long it's been gone. Might have been months. I don't know how long I was in the mirror world, and I hate to call it a mirror world. It's so unscientific.
Well,
we need a better word for the mirror world. Could you get on that, Doctor?
I shall. He's like Shadow Realm. But everything he comes to sounds too fey. So yes, he will put his mind to it. To Grimm's fairy tale for him.
Yes. Still. If they are to come in, we may have a meeting, but I will show you the other parts of the lab later, perhaps. And, Doctor, whatever you need from me, let me know, and I shall support you. And as for the Level Society, I will not let them touch you, at least publicly. Privately, you must see to that yourself.
I understand.
But with all due respect, Doctor, perhaps staying in the shadows is not the way to defeat these people. Being in the shadows ensures that they can do what they wish to you. Being public as a partner would help your case. If they move against you, it's much more in the public eye. It'll have to do with a lot of bad PR. And from what I've heard, the Level Society is in dire need of good PR. They don't have a good guy for it.
Maybe this is the best path. I have always appreciated everything you've done, and hopefully we can continue.
All I do is to extend the research and our findings. Yours are very interesting, Doctor. Let me know what I can do for you. And it's about that time, Delilah. I'll go back to you.
Thank you. And turns on a heel.
And Delilah.
Yes.
You've met your friends, of course.
Yes, I'm
You've
very
sent
excited
off
as
your-
I've looked toddling off to play with my son. I'm like, yay! Friends! I'm socializing improperly.
Yeah, Miss Fairchild,
Hashtag mommying.
don't walk into any sharp corners. Don't talk to strangers. Oh my goodness, he's leaving.
Different mommy styles, I
Yep.
think. Different parenting styles, absolutely.
Oh, the paranoia is strong with this one.
Yeah, I'm also just kind of side-eyeing Tilly quite guiltily as I'm just like, so my chef,
Right, has he eaten my dog or fed him too much? Please put me out my misery.
well, you see, according
What did
to
he
what
say? There's too much of him to eat, so he must have.
What?
My dog must have been really fat. Where is he?
He kept several dogs once upon a time as a child, from what I've heard, and he's been quite, well, he rather likes... Okay.
Please, Miss Berkeley, speak up.
He may have eaten all the mutton chops for the party.
How many did you order?
Well, not all of them, just a good amount.
Right.
He might have been eating the way Miss Fairchild would when she's less hungry.
I shall not compare her to a dog. That seems rather rude.
No, it's just a very
It's
small
very
amount.
enthusiastic when it comes to the edibles.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I just I clap my hands for the offering from Miss Fairchild and to put between me and Miss Fairchild.
The offerings are placed between you and Miss Fairchild.
I eat a slice
That's my
of
don't
cake,
eat me cake.
You eat a slice of cake. It's nice.
and then I stop. I'm only at 2 now, so I can.
Yes, you certainly can.
Yeah, I look very
It's like a
confused. I'm
pointed
like,
clink of a fork on a plate. So I put it down like.
I'm
Miss
just
Fairchild, perhaps you
absolutely.
can teach my dog a few things, I say as I stalk after the kitchen.
Yeah, you find
Do
the
not compare
cat
Miss
dog
Fairchild.
waddling out the kitchen.
Look at you!
A little corgi sort of like wobbling its way out.
You are not coming here anymore. I cannot bring you here if you're going to eat like this. Look at
It
you.
looks at you and sort of pathetically barks.
I can't see your legs.
It sort of
Your
rolls
legs.
over, and you see little stubs of legs it has. Its belly sort of crawling over it slightly.
Goodness.
In fairness, Tilly, corgis are known to have short, stubby legs and big bottoms. I think that's a particular... Your English dogs are quite like this, right?
But look at him. He's all bottom now.
You can
And eyes! Look at those eyes! They show
Yeah.
all the wonder and joy of this world.
With 2 eyes that are very cute. But you're not eating anymore today.
Oh, Peter looks so
No,
so
this is
hungry.
how it happens. And I am not looking after a diabetic dog. You are going for a walk with me now.
just a
I
word
put
of advice.
I put a leash on him.
Never
You
take
do
that
so.
dog to London. And just
Oh, Tilly, I have something to tell you. It's bad news. We should probably do this after the walk.
When I'm not going to be able to enjoy exercising my pack horse at this point.
I think that's rather
Well, he can fetch the newspapers quite well.
He can't even make it up the stairs anymore.
I'm sure he will. won't
He looks at you as if to say he could try.
I know you'll try, darling, but really, you little
Gives you a
piglet,
little wink.
I'm not going to carry you. Defeats the
Looks up
purpose.
at you with its puppy dog eyes. Could you please give me a willpower check?
Oh,
Weak-willed. I don't have the strength to carry him at this point.
well, you
I
don't
think
have the
anybody
strength to feed him.
No one in
Okay.
London. Your heart hurts as you look at
Yeah.
the pathetic thing on the floor,
If you're good, and
wiggling
you
its stubby ass little corgi legs.
I will pick you up and give you a cuddle later. But you need a walk.
And it it sort of flops back over to its side pathetically. Begins to get up as it rolls like a turtle off its back onto it.
Yes,
So
give
should
me
I
the bad news now. Then I can ruminate on it while we walk. What is it?
All right. Well, there's going to be a hanging, dear.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Oh, Miss
So you all
Fairchild,
knew about this.
It was happening quite close to my home, so yes,
I
unfortunately.
walked by it, but I don't really enjoy them. I know that's very un-British of me, but
Do you know who's getting hanged?
The circus gentleman, I believe.
For the
Mr.
shattering of the glass dome.
Yes.
Isn't he innocent?
He had nothing to do with it.
Not really for me to
She
decide.
kind of frowns. I only
How
found
has
this
this
out because of
happened?
Mickey.
How have they?
They traced him with some accomplices. They think he's with the Americans, who then, well, deflected right back.
As it
Right.
happened at the circus, and he was responsible for the circus, he really is the first line of inquiry, I imagine.
But the line of inquiry doesn't take someone to the, what is it called, gallows? Hanging? Rope?
England, Miss.
We are
Lady
quite
Buckley.
zealous here about our capital punishment. Has he
Crime
had?
and punishment.
Oh gosh, right. Well, I can't. Okay.
So there's that. That's one thing.
Right. Can you, Miss Fairchild? You're excellent with Gabriel. Can you please put his respirator on because he won't want to do it with me. I'm going.
Oh,
we're going for a walk.
It's
We're going
quite
for a
simple,
walk.
actually, Tilly. Why don't you just say respirator?
Trust me, I have, and he just runs away.
I look down at Gabriel. Respirator.
Respirator.
Sit,
Wait, no,
respirator. You're gonna try.
Also, welcome raiders. Hello.
I can't be distracted. I have to.
Good timing. We're just talking about a fat corgi, unfortunately, that has been heavily overfed. And you managed to put the respirator on the very willful dog as it has it on, ready to go out into London and out into the streets. But there's still a matter of Dr. VerRuckt and what he needed to say. And Dr. VerRuckt, you make your way out at this time. You make your way into the main hallway of the manor as you see Miss Fairchild, Tilly Griffiths, and of course Delilah, the lady of the house, all there. And Tilly is currently wrestling a respirator on the corgi.
We're all fussing over a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Ladies, I fear we have a situation.
Yes, I think we do,
Hello?
Dr. VerRuckt.
We do?
Yes.
There's a man to be hanged, Miss Fairchild? Do you not think that's a bit of a situation?
This is England, Lady Berkeley.
I just like, what? What do you mean this is England?
Hangings are not an uncommon occurrence.
I've
They're
seen
not.
people get. I've heard of people getting stoned, but this?
What are you going to do about
I
it, Dr.
found
VerRuckt?
barbaric, privately. Just
I feel that I have to do something. I cannot let a man be hanged for my
But that's
mistake.
something not telling the truth, is it?
I
Well,
don't know.
Just to clarify, who shot that glass dome? I never really saw anything that day.
Perhaps
Just to
we shall
be
not
sure.
speak of it anymore, shall we?
Oh, good
If you
God.
don't know, it's best that you'd never know, in case someone asks you and you have to willfully lie.
Well, I am very good at lying, but
It's still
not
crime,
anymore
sir.
these days.
I
That
don't
is
wish
true,
to see
dear.
you- I don't wish to see you harmed at all.
You know.
Right.
Oh,
Well,
so Dr. VerRuckt, did you sort the everything with my husband? Are you all right?
Yes. We have.
And it's about that time that Rouge arrives. Enjoy a haircut.
Oh,
that's rude. Okay, I'm going for my walk now. Goodbye. No, not again. Never again.
I
And
do
Rouge
not
flounces
understand
in
what's
through the
happening.
door and catches your eye immediately. She looks over and goes, "Oh, seems we meet again, Tilly Griffiths."
It's not me this time. I'm not
Oh,
your
it
offering.
is. I
No,
recognize
No,
that
thank you.
beautiful face anywhere, and of course that scared expression on your face and your heavily obese corgi.
You should be very small gentlemen. Wait, what did you say?
They weren't torture implements, they were
Put
beauty.
something on my eyelashes.
Beauty
I
can only be harnessed through pain.
Oh, good lord.
Yes, you've put me in plenty of pain. I'm going to leave
And
now.
you see her assistants on clap.
Madness.
Yes, I know.
Right, I need to
We're
get
here
out of here.
to deal with a fashion disaster, and I see a few here, but particularly you. She says, she points towards you, Dr. VerRuckt.
And when she said
You're
the
so
whole
astute,
like,
Rouge.
when she was all like, through this sensual pain, the doctor got a little flushed, like, oh.
And you do see an immensely beautiful lady in front of you wearing the height of fashion, perfectly made up. She kind of smiles at you very politely, only slightly, and catches your eye, Dr. VerRuckt. We shall see to it that you look a bit better. So, can I take the parlor, please, Lady Berkeley?
Of course, Rouge. Take all the time you need. Thank you so much for coming to my distress call.
No. I will always answer a distress call like this. This is a distress indeed, she says as she looks
You're
over
so
to the...
reliable.
We will see to it that he is less... I don't even have a word. Come, Doctor. We will peel you out of this cocoon and see what butterfly lives within.
Thank you very much.
She says, as you are physically dragged through the other room, plopped into a chair that spins slightly as her assistants get you ready, and the hair cutting begins.
Miss Fairchild just Lady Berkeley is just like, what did the doctor ever do to you?
Well, he asked for a haircut.
So we can sanctify the ground that they just walked on.
What is wrong with Rouge and her assistants? They're wonderful ladies. Beautiful,
They're
height of fashion.
Yes, it's like being assaulted by a pack of rabid dogs.
She just looks confused. They're the
Beautiful
most
rabbit dogs.
Beautiful wolves.
Having suffered that in the past, that is far worse.
They are
Yeah.
one of the most wonderful people I've met since coming to England, besides yourselves, of course.
This is
In
really
London
good.
is
very
We shouldn't look at it right now. There is a man who's going to die soon, so perhaps we should get on with that.
Yes, you do have
Oh,
time.
by the way, speaking of a
Haven't
dying
thought.
man, Tilly, another piece of news for you. I apologize.
And about that time, Mickey comes down the stairs with his suitcase.
Oh.
Like, good afternoon. Happy New Year's Eve. Yes, good to see you again. Especially you, Miss Fairchild. Always good to see that smile of yours.
Just turn immediately to Lady Berkeley. Is there a reason that he is here?
Yeah, there it is.
Still? Can I help
Well,
with that?
I was just on my
We've been-
way out.
Yes.
Do take
All
your
right.
time.
I got a new job, you see. I'm a new leaf in life. Whatever it is you say.
Lease.
That's the one, yeah, not leaf. I always thought it was weird that they said new leaf. Like they're all trees.
That's turning over a new leaf, darling. That's, for
yeah,
example,
that's the
if
one. Let's
you
forget
turned your
those.
back on being you. You know.
It's rather hard to do when
Yeah.
you've burnt down the whole forest.
Well,
They just kind
the
of
fire
like
wasn't my issue. It wasn't my problem. That was started by your lot.
Oh no, you just prefer to hurl projectiles. I forgot.
Yeah. From a safe distance at
in
particularly.
do not
Yeah,
mind.
right.
I would like to have some civility in this household.
Yeah, of
Very
course,
well.
of course.
You should leave, sir.
I will be. Don't worry about it. Delilah, I'll see you sometime.
Oh,
I'll let you know
How's
if
your
I find
stab
out.
wound doing? How's your stab wound? Is that healing well?
It's itching a lot. You know how it is.
Good.
It's healing though.
I hate to ask anything from you, but it seems there are other people being attacked similarly to you, although far more numerous
Good.
wounds. I was hoping you'd give a written statement, anonymous, of course, about your experience of the night.
Yeah. Do you want it written? I can get it to you. I know where you live, so I
I
can send
specified
through
written, so
postbox.
yes, I'd like written. Thank you very much.
All right. I'll get it written
Thank
and post it in the post box as soon as possible. I'll send somebody over for it.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Yeah, not a problem. Always happy to help the feds. He says and starts making his way to the door.
Don't push your luck.
Yeah, I ain't pushing nothing, he says and smiles a bit. You be well and have a good new year.
Yes, besides the door on your way out.
Yeah, it's a big door, won't swing fast enough. Might have gained a few pounds, Miss Griffiths, but not that many, he says as the door opens and he walks out.
Seems you and my dog have something in common after all. Sorry, it was most uncivil of me. Can we please, no more distractions. Can we please go and see this poor man and see what we can do?
Yes,
Thank
absolutely. I'll tell you about this later.
If you
Type up.
insist.
Something else. Dear. It's not.
Have you got more awful news to
Welcome, more raiders.
Welcome, Maurice.
Welcome, Black Cats. Hello. But yes, so Doctor, you are thoroughly whisked away by these strange fashionistas and styled much more fashionably, ready to go and view a hanging. Not what you ever thought you'd have a haircut for, but you're ready to go as he joins you again, and all of you are ready to head out, it seems, towards the gallows and towards the man wrongfully about to be hanged for Dr. VerRuckt's crime.
Oh, you got off lightly. Really, in a few minutes.
While we're waiting for the doctor to have his haircut, can I
Yes.
quietly grab one of Delilah's servants and
Yes, you can.
and ask them to... Oh, do we have telegrams? I don't think we have telegrams.
You do have telegram.
Why would you have telegrams, though? I'm a noble. They can just do everything for you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'll just send a runner to Mr. Carr's pub to let him know that a guest has left the house.
Okay, so you send
Very
a message.
vaguely.
So you send a message off, and they take it and get going. They look a bit suspicious at the address, but they make their way out there, and they begin to make their way to the railway pub, the place where Robbie Carr currently calls home. And as they get their way away, and the rest of you are prepared and ready to go, Dr. VerRuckt, your hair is much more trimmed now. It's less wild than it was. Your beard is perfectly trimmed and styled and oiled. They've given you some stuff to keep all of your hair in pristine condition, and you look a lot younger than you did before, a lot more refined.
I sigh so appreciatively. Oh, Rouge, you've outdone yourself once more.
Of course they have. She says, you know where to find me at your party later, she says, and then holds her head high as she leaves through the door.
Miss
Did she like
Fairchild
confuse herself to one part of the house?
She goes, and Miss Griffiths, you are doing your nails. Come to my house in 3 days. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. I wear gloves.
Be there.
Just don't touch my nose hair again, please.
Oh, good lord.
And the square is the least elegant of all shapes, she says as she leaves.
Isn't she just wonderful? Now, back to being dreary. This is the fashion here in London. Upset and sad, she says as she kind of makes sure she's wearing like her black and red properly, just like, ready for going out in England.
And you all get yourselves ready. And you begin to make your way down. So,
I just realized something. What are we going to do to get him out of it?
And
I can just leave it.
make your way there. And as you walk, you make it eventually there, and you have possibly around 15 minutes before the man is to be hanged by the time you make it there. There's not long left, it seems. They are currently testing the rope out. They're sort of pulling on it, making sure it's, massively sort of sustained and secured. You see them sort of drop a little mannequin they've made off of it to check that it sort of doesn't reach the ground, and it definitely swings a good distance above the ground. And they nod, happy with the trapdoor. And they
Miss
pull it up.
Fairchild is just appreciating the lethality.
It's very efficient.
Delilah sways a little and looks positively green.
Miss Griffith, I do believe the time for lies is over. We must tell what we know and face the consequences.
Before we do that, we need to do it in the right setting. This is not it. Understand?
How do we save this man then?
Let's go and talk to him first and see what's happened exactly. What have he said? She'll make
How about a public outcry? I whispered to Tilly. That's quite popular with my people. We could rouse the population to not have him, hanged for something not due.
Miss Fairchild just gestures to the massive crowd that are already gathering in order to watch the hanging. Go.
You hear them all like as
Public
you sort of
outcry.
intentionally drop. You hear them all cheer ravenously.
This is a bit not my usual crowd.
No.
Redirect bloodlust. Your people are very, very miserable indeed. I just whisper quite quietly.
Miss Fairchild looks offended.
Why are they so happy at death?
Tilly has clinical depression. She's completely okay with this.
Miss Fairchild is brutal.
No, she'll make her way over to the wherever he's being kept, in the cage, in a cart, wherever he is.
And he is kept in a cart that has some bars on the side of it as you do approach that, and he kind of looks out as soon as he sees that stark white hair. Oh, Dr. VerRuckt, you're back, thank God. Are you here to get me out? Have you managed to sort it?
We are trying. We're working on it. Miss Griffith has questions. Please answer.
I have a short amount of time.
Yes, who have you spoken to? Did you have representation at all?
No, I can't. After what happened, I had a lot of pay that was due that wasn't paid due to the disaster. I ran out of money. I couldn't afford any representation. Besides, the noble needs somebody to pin this on, and there's me.
I know. Right, you've had no representation. That's not good. I don't have a lawyer to talk to.
No, I've not got any representation.
Well, you're lucky I'm trained in the law, then, aren't you? Right, let's see what we can do. Okay. Tilly will have a think about who she needs to talk to first to try and get this, at least get it put off another day so she can do this properly.
If you had some viable things to say, probably the detective in charge of the case, probably a judge of some sort. Judges are a bit harder to get a hold of. If there's reason why they shouldn't be, they can put it off, but this seems to be much more of a... the reason this is such a big event is because there was a lot of losses at the Halloween gathering when the dome cracked and the glass rained upon everybody there. There were men, women, children killed, many who were rich, were old blood and nobility, some of which were just staff and innocents. There's almost a need for blood, for justice from the crowd. It may not be entirely lawful.
I look over to VerRuckt and sort of assess whether he's actually ready to do this.
Oh, yeah. This is a pay for your sins kind of moment. You could tell the doctor is ready.
And Dr. VerRuckt, you do see the detective that was with you this morning is currently by the side of the gallows. They're talking with the executioner. Still puffing on their pipe as they talk.
That is the detective.
Right. And Tilly will go over.
Dr. VerRuckt will come with.
Before she goes over, Delilah will come back to Tilly.
Yes.
Is there anything I could do to help? You're far more brilliant and versed in this than I. Maybe I could...
You are a lot more social than I am, and you are more one of them. Well, more an aristocrat. That day...
Perhaps my presence would help?
That day, a horrendous person was put to rest for crimes they committed against the children and people of Upper London.
Yes. And
the disaster happened while that was going on. If you could somehow spin it that it was perhaps not anyone's fault, or perhaps it was theirs. One last final strike out against the children of Upper London. You can maybe spin it that way.
Well, if you believe that is prudent, then I will go through with it. First, of course, I'll accompany you. Hopefully my presence will at least allow them to speak with you. If it does not work, I'll step in.
They do know that or Will knows that it is my gun that fired the round.
What? Pardon?
Don't. This is why I didn't want her to know.
Right.
Then we'll all go over, I suppose.
Okay, you go over with that in mind as you make your way over to the gallows that have been constructed, and you see the detective, rather burly bloke, sort of big old coat, big old mutton chops, and a nice moustache, as he's sort of talking to the man who's to drop the switch today.
Detective Howard, is it?
Yes, that would be me. What can I do for you? He says,
I'm
he kind
wondering
of
if we
turns
could
around.
have a word about the proceeding of it.
Yes.
It seems.
What about it, Griffiths? Is there something else that you wish to tell me? You are an unfortunate part of the suspects for these crimes, but of course, with your standing and what you were doing, there's no involvement here of that.
Yes.
For the rest of you, I do need to question sometime soon. Only a few loose ends in the case.
Well, we were hoping we would get a few loose ends tied up for you. However...
Well, I'm very interested to hear them, Miss Griffiths, says Mr. Howard as he sort of...
However...
assistant takes out their notebook.
I do not want the day that the Blue Cat killer was
yes, all the
killed
cotton.
to be a day where someone completely innocent took a fall they didn't need to. It does not sit right with me, and I would
took a fall, Miss Griffiths.
like to do things properly with this. Detective Howard. The man hasn't even been respected, and he did give joy.
Miss Griffiths, perhaps you misunderstand. He may give joy in his activities, but what he did also have happen in his event was a tragedy that killed many people. There is no one accountable for it. They were responsible for the safety of the people during that time. They were to ensure that no weapons were carried within. They were also to ensure that nothing like this was to happen. They were given very explicit instructions and signed contracts based on that. As for the rest, they also know more about who is complicit with the destruction of the dome.
How do you know that?
Indeed.
We have our sources, Miss Griffiths. Confidential sources. As I'm sure you're aware, we in the police have to do our investigations a bit differently than you. We aren't quite so freelance.
No, I know you have a lot more resources than I myself, Detective
And
Howard.
regulations.
However, the regulations put aside, a man has not been represented properly. And this case, I understand you want it closed quickly. This is not right.
Griffiths, with all due respect, do you believe we are in America? Representation is not a thing that we are given here automatically. If they wish to get someone to speak on their behalf, they must pay for it. And even then, we don't have any that would take this case.
I will.
You're not a lawyer, Miss Griffiths, though very noble of you.
I'm trained in law well enough.
Very good.
GM.
And what degree and permission to act upon things as a lawyer? And yes,
GM. Do I know any lawyers? Because, my hubby gives me a lot of his contacts.
Ned definitely has some lawyers.
Would I know anyone crazy enough that would take this on?
It would be career suicide. You don't know if many of them would. You could possibly find one of his less good lawyers. Maybe a young one that's trying to make their way up.
All right, if that is the case, I mean, I could probably just puppy dog eyes Ned. It's fine. She will then kind of like, and then kind of shut her fan a bit to catch their attention. You said he's in need of lawyer proper presentation, yes?
He's already been judged. Mr. Lila, he is to hang in 10 minutes.
And what can I do to get this called off? I rather enjoyed his event before all that tragedy happened, and frankly, I don't think it's his fault.
And what proof do you have to the contrary?
Well, I was there, wasn't I? I nearly got...
Yes.
How do you say this?
Mr. Lila, he says, and his assistant begins to write down notes. What was happening on that day?
Well,
Tell me.
That day, We went through the maze, and then I
Don't say anything, Mr.
Maze,
Lila.
yes. Interesting that you
Well,
weren't
aren't I a
seen
witness?
actually having admittance to the maze. In fact, none of you were that were there. Many of them were seen coming from it. The maze that was set alight, that began to smoke up the area. The maze where the gunshot came from.
Yes, I remember that fire. That was quite horrible.
You do,
Miss.
he says,
Yes,
and
she
insist
says.
and continue to take
Miss.
care of
No,
I
I
was
do put my
lost.
hand on Lady Berkeley's. Miss Berkeley, please.
What? It was a
Do not
fire.
give
It had nothing to
information
do
so
with
freely
us.
when there is no guarantee they will give anything in return. We
Would you
can
just-
clear up some loose ends, but we need this cooling off. We can give you
Yes.
perhaps
Should I call
even
for-
the real culprit behind it.
You
He
can.
pauses at that and sort of raises a hand to his note taker, who stops for a moment, closes the book.
I didn't want it to come to this, however, but if you can get this called off, we will all speak truthfully about what happened that day.
You do realize the penalty for sheltering a known criminal.
I look so confused.
Your license as a detective would be at risk, Miss Griffiths, if this was true. Miss Griffiths, if I may, off the books, I would say that perhaps it is best that you let this man hang. The nobility want blood. The people of Upper London want blood. They will not be happy if they don't receive it today. You should not put yourself at risk for such a thing.
They've had blood. There's already been so many people killed.
They want justice. The kind of blood they want is justice.
There was no justice. It was an accident.
Accident or no? Who did it? What happened? And stop talking in strange ways and trying to get him lawyers when he's 10 minutes away from hanging. No lawyer can save him now.
Will
Well,
this save him?
Perhaps. I can see what I can do, as long as I know what is happening, and I can find a way to resolve this case. It's been a rather droll activity. There's much more to get working on, Miss Griffiths, and this has been one that has been taking my last weeks.
I looked to Dr. VerRuckt then.
I also would not wish to see you lose your license over such a thing. You do good work.
The shot was most likely from my gun, from me,
Most likely.
in pursuit of this man. I cannot let him hang for an accident, for a curse upon me, for sake of justice. I have been in your court before, and I have seen the swift justice.
They do love justice, yes. Not so long ago that hung drawing and quartering was a thing. They're a little bored of hanging, but they still come to watch. Very well. So you're admitting to the crime?
Yes.
And you would be willing to admit to this in a more official capacity?
Correct.
Very well. He says, and his assistant takes open his book and writes a few more notes. I will see to it that they gave up their accomplice, that it was an accident in the pursuit of justice that brought down a killer of nobility and children alike. But you won't go off scot-free. And I'll need an official statement from yourself, Dr. VerRuckt, and the rest of you as well. But not you, Miss Griffiths. You were busy pursuing a criminal.
I was.
Your statement may complicate things somewhat. But very well.
You should get
You
what you
set a
need from
date, Dr. VerRuckt, for a meeting in court. You've willingly given yourself up. So for at least this day, I will not take you in and put you in that robe. That's for them to decide. But I cannot protect you from the gallows, Dr. VerRuckt. The public will want blood. Accident or no. You'll need to speak a strong case to be able to get through this, you understand?
I understand.
And I will present the proof as it is. The rest is out of my hands. I don't deal with that side of the law. I merely catch those who do the bad, you could say.
And he bows.
Shame, I was hoping more that the mob did it, or perhaps it was the anarchists again. Shame to see that it was you, Dr. VerRuckt.
I cannot let this happen. I could not let a man hang for an accident.
Well, you're in luck. We have a backup anyway.
A backup?
Oh, yes, murderer. He says kind of offhanded. They were going to be hanged afterwards regardless. But
Miss Fairchild kind of turns to Lady Buckley. It would have been a riot if they didn't hang someone.
It would have been. He says and sort of...
Who's the murderer? Which one is it this time?
No. You know, the 4th Street murderer. Chokings, things like that. Beatings, killed their own wife. A couple of other people as well along the way. Went on a few days worth of killing. Gruesome things. Gruesome. All done with the hands.
The doctor studies you.
I just kind of lean a bit on the doctor, just like,
So, the public will enjoy that, and I will call off the rest, but I must say, this works remarkably well, he says, and smiles slightly at you, Dr. VerRuckt. I was hoping the guilt would bring the public actual culprit forward. I'm glad it worked.
Yes, you're quite effective with your weapon.
Indeed I am, he says and nods. But needs must.
And the doctor has no malice towards this guy whatsoever. Yeah. He literally is, you know.
And he gives you a bit of a smile, but does put his book away. For what it's worth, I will speak at least on the behalf of you coming forward willingly. There must have been a misunderstanding, but I cannot do any more than that for you, Dr. VerRuckt, and there must be some punishment for those that died. I hope your backers have your back, so to speak, financially. Justice speaks one thing, money speaks far further.
The truth is much more important.
I would agree, but those above me would not. Good day.
Thank you.
I have a murderer to hang, he says, and gets turning before he gets leaving.
I imagine we're not staying.
No, I would like to go home, please. I feel faint. I feel like
and
my
the
respirator
announcements begin
isn't
to
working.
happen as you see the crowd begin to riot before they whip out the murderer and bring them up. And they riot even more. They start shouting and screaming and cheering that there's an even worse person to be hung this day. The British public craving blood for this.
No.
Not even a minute. Oh, right. Prepare to leave.
Yeah, as we're leaving, I'll look back at Miss Griffiths and Dr. VerRuckt. Now, I'm not particularly academically inclined, nor am I very good with legal matters, but it looked like he had you cornered. Was that it? It looked like when Ned beats people in chess.
Yes.
I should go find him and ask him about how much money we're going to spend on this. That's the only thing keeping me going. And probably some spirit. I need something to drink.
I still have a little bit of money left over from the auction. You still have your dividend, Dr. VerRuckt.
Yes.
You can
How do you all deal with this?
I have no doubt that your knowledge, Miss Griffith, and your public acumen, Lady Delilah, would have pulled the wool over the eyes of the authorities.
Phineas does make his way over to you as he's released from the back of the car and runs over to you, shackles sort of marks still on his hands as he just grips at your coat, Dr. VerRuckt, and just goes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
It is the least I could do. Sorry for...
So scared. Those minutes were ticking away. I was thinking about taking those things you gave me, and I was close.
What were you given?
Give them back to me. Now that he thinks about it.
Immediately.
That would not have helped.
Pills in his pocket.
Regardless, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I've missed so many appointments. Oh, gods, I've not got any pay. Oh, dear, I find things. I do not know how to repay you.
I do have a question. So
Yes, questions. I can answer things.
I'm sure
You're
your
destitute.
company has suffered quite... Yes. So you are destitute, then? She kind of looks quite in thought.
Oh, very much so. All of my things from the circus were confiscated when I was reported as being part of a ringleader of a crime circuit to do that. They were not handled very well, and they were very much broken, and the rest of my troop, they've moved on by now. They took their pay, of course. Made sure they were paid. But the rest of the money is gone.
Okay, so Delilah's not really like psychologically like super good like the rest of those guys, but she's gonna kind of size him up and down to think about how talented was he like when she last saw him, and does she think that he can remake everything again one day?
That's a big role, but yeah, sure, you can give me a psychology check on that. Yeah, psychology, you can give me a check, please.
Pardon?
So what you could possibly give him. But if you can give me a blank check, so just 2d10, please.
Yes. I'm very curious. I'm more curious about this. Could he? Could he, maybe. 7.
You have no idea.
Yeah, she'll leave the judging to Ned.
Yeah, he's the one who does the financial investments usually, so...
Yeah, she'll be like, well, how about this? You look like you're very, very bad. How about we take you into my house for a cup of tea?
Yes, that would be lovely, actually. I must say, though, I did have an appointment to get to with the curator of the Museum of the Curious and Occult. A very particular appointment, but yes.
What is that appointment?
I was... A strange thing, but to do an exhibit, and we talked, and they wanted to do a mask of me. You know, akin to the death masks that you see. It's a rather macabre exhibit. But yes, they have a collection. They keep.
Right.
And you made this appointment even though you were going to die about a couple of minutes ago?
Well, I mean, before then, at the time, it felt rather macabre, but at least interesting and harmless enough. Now, I believe my death mask would have been much more real, concerning. But it's not. It's not. Thank you, he says, he grips your lapels.
How much debt are you in?
Oh, how deep's the ocean?
She quotes how deep the ocean is.
Please don't speak any longer. I'm feeling the depths of my soul be drained from me.
Don't be so dramatic. How much debt are you in?
That's all I am. A lot. I financed my shows with some loaned money. And, of course, at the time, I had made a landfall. I was about to pay it back, and then some. Then I wasn't paid. The glass ceiling collapsed above me. Many nobles died, and I had everything taken from me immediately. And I was about to hang. So, you know, I thought at least if I hang, dead, but that wasn't even one thing that made me feel better.
Okay, if you don't want to give me the financial details, who lent you the money?
300,000.
Who lent you the money? Because now you're out, you've got more things to think about.
Few people. I took one loan from some of the East London gang, and some from the Americans, and a little bit from the Chinese, and
you did
another
not.
private financier.
You didn't think just apply to a bank like a normal human being?
I
That
thought
was
if I
very
split
stupid.
it, I could
Get more
consolidate
parties
it.
after
in
you.
one.
Yes.
No,
No.
the show was going very
Goodness.
well. I was the page of the moth.
You've
Look, I
paid
get
them
it. My
off?
life just isn't the best, but at least I'm alive. I can make it better. I can earn more money with nothing.
Just do it safe.
But I feel like I've gone out of the frying pan and into the fire, so to speak.
Well,
You
very
would have
much
been better
so.
off dead, if that's what you're saying, yes.
Are you good at
No, no.
disguises, Mr. Phineas?
Very.
Good. I suggest you put on a disguise, and where will you be at 7:30 tonight?
Well, all of my things were repossessed, so
Mhm.
the streets.
Right. Name a place near here.
Not here, gallows, grim. Park. About 2 streets east of here. Statue of
Be
a
there
cherub.
at 7:30.
And I would suggest that you miss this death mask appointment. It is
Yes, I don't
very-
wish to do that today. I may have to rearrange. He did say it is an open appointment. It's fine. I can go another day.
Yes,
Possibly
avoid
not a
anything,
priority.
anything
Probably.
feeling death today would be bad for you, I believe.
Terribly so. And it's about that time that you do hear the drop of the floor from underneath the murderer, and you hear the sickening crack and some
I look
choking.
around.
You see them dangling off the rope.
Was it efficient?
It was very efficient. The height was correct. Their neck snapped the moment they dropped.
There's a little nod of appreciation from one death dealer to another. Kind of like,
Of course, you do that and they nod, and of course the crowd do then throw stones and the like at the hanging body, unfortunately, which begins to sway with each one that's thrown as they jeer and cheer and, Victorian British public things.
Shall we
So it's
depart?
And as we
Please.
walk away, the doctor will fade back to walk with Miss Fairchild, and he'll say, "They should put the nappy on the man before that, because the bowels always they evacuate, and so it is."
the humiliation is kind of part of it.
You British, you're so funny. Your ways are just and that's
Can I hear this?
trying
I'm
to
not being
fade
quiet.
back.
So.
Yeah.
Miss Fairchild is
Just kind of
very of
clings
her
on-
period, okay? It's very she's very Victorian.
I'm gonna cling on to Tilly. Just pretend not to hear.
Since Dr. VerRuckt has kind of stepped back to be next to Miss Fairchild, she'll kind of look at him and be like, it would have been better if you'd just let him hang.
Yes, but then I think the time for me and secrets is coming to an end, and there's too many. They must. I must live free.
I can respect that. I don't understand it, but I can respect it.
I mean, you and Havelock. Would it not be better if you could just
No.
be you?
No, it would not. Some secrets are safer secret. Not better, but safer.
He nods and can accept that.
As you accept that, you all begin to make your way across Upper London and back towards the Berkeley estate for now, at the very least. You cross through the gates into the house and are met by the servants yet again. And yes, Delilah.
As we've been kind of just walking with those guys, Delilah would have just kind of taken the time to kind of talk with Tilly to ignore the very morbid talkings in the background, as she would have quietly asked, the other subject, as that hanging was going on, was about my father. I found some more interesting things. The one who dealt with him was Mickey's father.
Miss Delilah, are you quite certain? I know your father was a tailor and the murderer was a tailor, but are you quite certain it's the same person?
She kind of frowns a little. I never drew the connection before, but a long time ago, he brought back a woman when I was 10 years old. And she went missing. I never thought much about it. The more I think about it, how good he was at his work, the more I cannot help but think it was true.
Do you have anything that he made?
Like dresses from when I was younger, but she kind of thinks about it. Magdalena tore some of them.
If you can get me a couple of those dresses, I can have a look and see if the handiwork is similar. My mother was a tailor. I'm quite familiar with the stitching. And I've committed something to memory. So,
you know, I learn more things about you every day. I'm proud to call you my cousin.
About
I am
that,
quite curious. Well, yes?
I'm quite curious as well. Do you want that to be a public thing? I can understand if you don't. Our stations are quite different, Miss Berkeley.
Well, honestly, I don't mind. You know, I only talk proper and act proper for Ned, and his name, really. That's on him.
Then
the
I
problem
suggest
is,
you...
of course, my father's name is still, you know, not so great. I don't want that to be a problem for Ned if it's traced back.
Yeah. And I think perhaps you should talk to Ned and see what he thinks. I don't want to bring any more scandal by having your name attached to mine on your house.
It's less about your name, it's more about my birth father's name, my angel.
Yes, Griffiths.
Now, another thing, why did you ask him to meet us? We're going to that... Well, forgive me, it does sound rather romantic, but, you know, revolutionary play. She kind of fidgets a bit like...
I have an idea. It's not a very good one, I'll admit. But it will give you the excuse to pull Rouge again.
Oh, I do love her. She's wonderful. She's coming to my party. You do know this, right?
I was hoping that we could disguise Mr. Phineas and I could take him somewhere safe, because currently he has pretty much all of Lower London coming for him. And it would be...
Oh.
I just can't... It doesn't sit right with me that... Well, it does and it doesn't. I'm glad
there is one problem.
Dr. VerRuckt came forward, but... If he just dies now, it will be for nothing.
She does have discretion, but that sort of gossip is a bit too juicy.
Then do you think you could help?
Absolutely. I used to act all the time.
You're very good at it.
She grins. Oh yes, don't ask Ned.
No. But if we can give him a disguise, I can take him somewhere safe until we figure something out for him. But I can't leave him to just fend for himself. He's more useless than Gabriel.
Oh yes,
No offense,
about
Gabriel.
that. I was considering investing in him, or at least getting Ned to see if he's worth it. Then he said all of those other gangs. It's not worth it at all.
No, not as current.
Absolutely. What a shame. What a shame.
So,
Speaking of Ned, I must inform him to find our best lawyers now. Ooh, goodness, he's not going to be happy.
one last thing, Miss Berkeley.
Yes?
And she looks very pained. Where would you suggest a second date?
Note that you arrive back at the manor, and as Delilah restrains her squeal, we will call today's session. So, next session, we're back with the New Year's Eve party, the play from Doom, and of course, much more to come with your lovely Level Lindy playing, of course, Magdalena, who we've missed dearly today. But we'll go around and we'll let us know who each of you are. Let us know something you're working on. And of course, let us know what your favorite moment from today was. So we will start the opposite way this time. We'll go with Miss Fairchild.
Oh my goodness. Not prepared. I'm so used to going the other way now. Hi, I'm Shakespeare, and I've been playing Miss Fairchild. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Shakespeare. It's the same handle everywhere. I knit nerdy things. At the moment, I'm knitting bees to fill a jar, which I'll be giving away at the beginning of March when my birthday is, because it's in March. Hello, not now. And you can also find me on, like that. I knit that. He's got a haircut as well. You can't see it there. There it is. I'm also, you can find me on Tuesday evenings over on Hollow's channel, where I'm playing another person who eats a lot of things they shouldn't and regrets it, but who is anxious as opposed to gloomy and into death. Actually, no, they're morally grey as well. That's the thing. So yes, my favorite thing about today's session, if we're doing that, was definitely just the corgi. Everything about the Orby was just brilliant. And the idea that someone can just feed so many chops to a dog, it gets morbidly obese over the space of, a day? That was impressive. I love it. I love Gabriel. He's my fave. I've got to look for corgi patterns now. So yeah, that was my favorite bit. I really love this show. I love being here, and I can't wait for next week.
Brilliant stuff. So, and it's always good to have you, Shay. It's always good to have you again. Thank you so much for playing, and we'll move down to Delilah Berkeley.
Hello. I'm Lark. I am feeling a bit awkward because I was third, now I'm second. Words. Yes, I draw things and fangirl about RP on Twitter, and I fangirl about my cat on Instagram, though I'm a bit lazy about taking pictures of him. He's always sleeping. See that blob behind me? That's him. As for my favorite part of this session, can I just say it's just the doctor today, just in general, like him being like I am stoic, it is not my fault, and then going, no, I will not let an innocent man die. Like I was like just, dude, like you were risking being hanged, like just
one step away from a short drop.
You're my hero, like as usual. Like, oh my god, you saved our favorite other son, our other genius son, and now you're saving this, well, very, very indebted guy who is probably better off dead, but he's alive.
He definitely is, and well done, and thank you so much for playing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for running.
No problem at all. And Tilly.
Hello. So yeah, this has been a time. Yeah, I agree with Lotloria. Like, Greybeard, you stole the show today. It was so good. Just like watching that transition from, no, I don't care about it, to, oh, maybe I should confess. Like, it was just wonderful to see, like, that development. It was just so good. Otherwise, yeah, corgi. But Gabriel better. He's gonna get eaten by someone. I can see it. Just not a bird, because he's too fat for anyone to carry him off.
Don't take him to Lower London, that's all.
Yeah. But he's my protection.
They'll eat him.
What?
Yeah, I know. I'll leave him behind and I'll get away. He can't run that fast. No, I won't do that. Yes, you can find me on Twitter at Humbledove6. I'm working on getting my university degree right now, so I'm not being that interesting. However, as Shakespeare said, you can find me, themself, and Hollowtail on Tuesdays playing Mistborn, which is a Pirates of Ravenloft kind of game. It's become a little bit more of a trip. Lots of sugar pies, if you know what I'm saying. So, but yeah,
it's a mind fuck. That's what it is.
Yeah, that.
In the best way.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant stuff, and thank you so much for playing as usual. And of course, dare I say, the star of today, Dr. VerRuckt. It seems everybody's been saying how much you've been a star, so well done.
Well,
MVP.
I'm Graybeard at Graybeard's Tavern. Check my Twitter for my schedule. I've got 4 games a week or more, plus my own show on Sunday mornings. Check that out there. So I usually like to go in a tangent about my favorite stuff, but I think that without Hollowtail, I mean, we wouldn't have been playing that game of chess at all. It was brilliant. It was very clever. The doctor is he's done this a few times where he's his trajectory goes way out and then he snaps back around and does the right thing at the last minute. It's just the way I've made the character, and I love that. Like I said, but without all that the putting those chess pieces out there and moving them around, we wouldn't have a game. So I mean, applaud and thank you, sir. And yeah, definitely love it. Just love it.
No, thank you. And where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Graybeard Tavern, graybeardtavern.com. I think it's all Graybeard Tavern now with no S in the middle. So even over on Twitch. So
that's always good. Brilliant stuff. And yeah, thank you so much for playing. Like I said, Graybeard, you've been amazing. I've loved VerRuckt tonight. I love him every night, but tonight was particularly good for VerRuckt. So thank you so much for playing and following along with that and playing along. And that redemption arc was beautiful there. So you will have, of course, lost 1 corruption. However, chat has made their vote and also deemed that you gain 1. You were so close to being redeemed, VerRuckt, but you're back exactly where you were. Unfortunately.
Oh, the wisdom of crowds. I love it.
I love you, chat. I love you anyway. Ugh. The curse goes on.
But until next time, I've been a Hollowtail. Thank you so much for everybody who's been watching tonight. It's amazing to see so many of you in chat, and it's brilliant to see the interaction with us as well. And thank you for all of the raids as well. They were always brilliant. And thank you to Architect Origins, who kindly donated earlier to give people the Super Pie, which will continue to make its reappearances, I'm sure, in other games, and does actually have mechanical effects. So we'll see how that goes in the next game.
No! Don't let them crash and burn.
Until next time, however, I'm a Hollowtail. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Hollowtail. Check me out there where I do various tabletop RPG related videos and also do a series called Tales from Hollow World, which is a short form actual play / highly edited audio drama show where we play Savage Worlds Adventure Edition in a original fantasy world that I've been working on for roughly about 8 to 10 years. So come and check that out. It's got an amazing cast. It's got the brilliant Little Cup of Joe. It has a Pruitt from WebDM. It has the brilliant Laughable Lindy, who you'd usually see on this channel. And, of course, myself DMing, which is the least interesting bit, but trust me, I'll get you through the show. And aside from that, go and check that out. It's something I love a lot. So, and obviously, on Tuesday, come and check us out on my channel on Twitch at Hollowtail, where we will be playing Mistborn, which is our Ravenloft pirate game, which is very fun. They're all about to die. Let's see how that goes. And but until then, everybody's watching. Have a lovely day tomorrow. Have a lovely Valentine's Day. Much love here from the Unhallowed cast, of course. And we'll see you in only a week for more creepiness and strange things going down as we get back to investigating the murders and the missing person of the actress who's in this underground theater. So until next time, beware what goes bump in the night. It might be VerRuckt redeeming himself and then immediately gaining corruption. And, thank you, everybody, for coming on. And thank you very much for being with us today. So until next time, thank you very much, everybody. And goodbye.